Greetings, this is Thrianer Runamentla. I am coming to you with another D&D reaction. In this episode, this is my reaction to episode 3 of the Dungeon Dudes campaign, Dungeons of Drakenheim. Let's see. Quick disclaimer, I do not own nor am I associated with the Dungeon Dudes channel, beyond the fact that I am a fan. Okay, well, and that's it for this disclaimer. Now, on to the episode. When last we left off, well, they've gone. They're still. I think that's still the sign name, but I think the going name is the Ghostly Three. Other names that include the Jackson Three, the Three Crows, and Vale and the Pussycats. Also, apparently, and as the last episode, another consideration: the Potion Inspection Bureau. Though since there may have already actually been one, which closed, that may be off the table.
Drakkenheim is no more. Struck by a falling star, the city bathed in eldritch fire on that woeful eve. The tumultuous aftermath brought chaos, families torn asunder, and a kingdom shattered. 15 years later, monsters stalk the haunted streets of Drakkenheim. Caught amidst rival factions struggling to rule the rubble, 3 unlikely partners venture forth into the crumbling city in search of riches, renown, and revenge.
Good evening and welcome to Drakkenheim. This is our weekly Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition game with the Dungeon Dudes. That's me, Dungeon Master Monty Martin.
And I'm Kelly McLaughlin, playing Sebastian Crow, a half-elf shadow sorcerer.
And we're joined by our very good friends.
Jill Denitis, I'm playing Veo Senya, a Tabaxi Gloomstalker.
And Joe O'Gorman, I'm playing Pluto Jackson, a human battlemaster.
And thank you for joining us all again. If you're just tuning in for the very first time, Kelly and I post new videos every Thursday on our YouTube channel where we cover everything Dungeons & Dragons. We've got advice for DMs and guides for players, and you can actually find all of our prior episodes of Dungeons & Drakenheim right there on YouTube for your viewing as well. When last we left our heroes, they had ventured into the north end of the city, north of the castle, outside the city walls, in search of a manor house and the research of a malfeasant wizard known as Oscar Yoren. After making a very interesting bargain with Oscar Yoren, where Veo gave a vial of her blood to further the necromancer's research, they left the manor house seeking their own fortune from there, having learned many new secrets about the delirium from Oscar Yoren in the manor. Although they slew one of Yoren's apprentices and several of his zombie creations, they seem to have left on at least uneasy but fair terms, with the promise to return should they want more potions in exchange for blood, delirium, and the trade of information should you one day find eldritch lilies deep in the ruins of the Queen's Park Gardens in the city. With that, as you walk away through the city streets, we turn to our 3 heroes, one of whom is left exhausted, having been drained of so much blood. What will you 3 do?
You guys have any sugar water on you? Because I'm not feeling the best.
I haven't seen sugar in a very long time in these parts.
That's true.
How are you feeling?
Well, I could do with a rest or 5, but I mean, we need to get somewhere out of these streets that we can at least.
I mean, we're not too far from the mill. I know that we always go back to the mill, but it's the safest place that I can think of if we're thinking to take a rest.
I'm new to the city, and I only know one place, and it's the mill. So I find myself always going to the mill.
I mean, it's not a nice place, but it's outside of the really scary areas of the city, so
At least we're not going to scratch anybody's names off, which is always a positive.
yet.
How are your supplies and provisions?
Oh, I mean, I've probably got only a day's worth left. How about
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
You just got 12 fish.
Did I? Yeah.
She can.
That's about a
Bayo
day's
consumes
worth for
fish at
me.
an abnormal rate.
Were you eating fish that entire mission?
No.
There's like a
Yes.
fish like hanging out of your. No.
No.
I'm feeling a little spell tired. Is that a word? I'm making it up. What? Spell tired.
You're magically exhausted.
I'm magically exhausted. Just like Lucky Charms are magically delicious, but
Yeah, I was thinking
Opposite.
the opposite.
I was trying to think of a
All
Lucky
right, so you're
Charm joke.
feeling the opposite of Lucky Charms. I'm feeling a little bit drained. You probably can't tell because my fur is dark, but it's there.
I don't want to admit it. I'm just really. I just really want to clean my armor, and so I don't want to. I don't want to admit that I want to stop.
It's gonna be a fruitless effort, though.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's more like just like, those shoes you had for that winter, and you just wore them through all the salt and all the grime. That's my armor. I didn't clean it.
Yes, and once you have returned to the mill, what will be your next destination? It's a few days before River is due to meet with you with the report on how your encounter with Oscar Yoren went. So you do have some time to explore, recuperate, what have you, find more riches in the ruins, perhaps?
Well, I mean, we did mention that we wanted to go see the hood lanterns again. I mean, we promised we'd go back.
True.
Could we spend money?
Where would be the best place to spend money?
I hold my big bag of gold.
The only
out.
place possible where
Our
you could
gold?
spend your big bag of gold that you collected from River previously would be to travel back south towards Emberwood Village, the small feeder town on the in the fields outside Drakkenheim that has become a little bit of a nexus point for those who would be venturing into the city. Emberwood Village purportedly has stayed in good state and has stayed in a good state since the destruction of Drakkenheim, and not become a ghost town like so many of the other smaller towns outside the city. When adventurers want to rest, resupply, and more comfort than the Eckerman Mill, usually Emberwood Village is their number one choice.
Onward.
Um,
By the way,
the
no,
Jackson
dog
Three.
games.
I think the Three Crows could. I
Just
don't
go
think we
Ghost
need to
of
go to
Symphony.
Amberwood Village.
Bayo and the Pussycats should go to Emberwood Village because, we just need to stock. You never know what's going to happen in this city, and
Yeah, but
really,
I mean,
that's the only place to spend
Really,
your gold.
there's nothing important there. We don't.
We
Other
could
points.
we could buy you new goggles.
Those ones are looking pretty singed. So.
These are beautiful goggles. I've had them since I was young, and they're vintage.
Maybe you could get a helmet.
I don't need a helmet. Fine. No, maybe.
Maybe a helmet?
Maybe we'll go to Amberwood Village. I don't know. I don't like that place
Yeah.
very much.
There's a couple of people I gotta say hi to though. With the, we said we would go back to see them. Come on, Sebastian, you scared?
Come on.
I'm not scared.
I think you're scared.
Okay, all right. We'll go to Emberwood Village. There's nothing wrong with it. Everything's fine. Let's go. It's good. I'm happy.
But we definitely need to take a break first. So
Yeah,
let's go find that mill.
I'll take a nap.
So it sounds like your plan is to camp out one more night on the edges of the city and then head to Emberwood Village?
I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
If we pull up our map, the trek to Emberwood Village is quite a long one. You are right now on the north side of Drakkenheim, in the area of the city called North Castle, and typically when you retreat to Eckerman Mill, that's on the west side of the city. Most of your explorations have been in this northwest area. However, Emberwood Village is far to the south, about 5 miles outside of Drakkenheim, and so getting there will either require a long journey outside the city and looping back around the trade roads again, or the most direct path would be to go through the Sprawl, cross the river somewhere, and then through the spokes, the south side of the city, and directly down
It's on.
to Emberwood Village.
I don't see it on the legend.
Veo, you're the navigator.
Yeah.
Have you been to Emberwood Village?
I've been around there. I mean, there's lots that we can do for trading, and it's probably the main area I get all the semi-food that I get, so yeah.
How would you get there from here?
Well, I mean, I would take a shortcut. I would definitely go through the Sprawl and, cross the river because, I got some connections there. So if you guys want to get there sooner than later, that would be the way. But, it is more dangerous. So we got to keep an eye out and maybe not get into any scuffles with anyone, particularly the bandits. If we can avoid them, I guess.
Well, I guess you'll be leading the way, so we're going to trust you on that one.
Let's do it.
Do you think we can avoid bandits in the city?
Well, I mean, I think we could avoid bandits in the city.
Clunk, 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 clunk. What do you mean, guys?
So, I mean,
Your
it's
voice.
debatable. But, I mean, so
Why
far,
should it be so loud?
I think we could probably take a couple bandits.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
I mean,
I'm
we
not afraid
killed
of bandits.
Yeah, we killed 1 million rats, and that was no problem. Nobody died.
No one even came close to dying.
Just gotta be careful about killing the bandits. I mean, the queen's not the nicest when you kill off her subjects. So,
Oh,
I mean,
true.
let's just avoid that for now.
First things first, though. Let's go sleep at the mill.
Yeah.
Okay. You take the market way northwest outside the city through the Cairn Hills. And before long, you return to the Eckerman Mill, that old creeping mill which overlooks Drakkenheim from the northwest. It's an old wooden structure, and it doesn't look like anyone has camped out here in the intermediate time. Your old campsite, the old campfire that you'd set up, is still
Our
there.
fire. I know that fire.
And you gather up some water from the creek, set your tent, and Veo proceeds to probably wolf down the rest of your fish.
Whatever was left.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you sharing, or
No, you guys got a big bag of gold. This is what I got paid with.
I can't eat gold. I pull out some like crusty bread and nibble it and stare at you as you eat your fish.
And you wanted to avoid Emberwood Village. You need to get some food quick.
Yeah, we're starving.
This
over
crusty bread is delicious.
You can suck on the bones of these fish if you want, but
Thank you. I will.
you're welcome. Make a stew or something.
As we pass into the evening, the rains slowly begin to fade, and once again the purplish sky is visible over Drakkenheim as you can see the faintest stars and the moon hanging overhead in the city. As you look back towards Drakkenheim, you can see the soul light, the octarine glow which comes from the crater deep inside the city, kind of giving that halo over the city's ruins, and backlighting the imposing towers of the castle, the cathedral, and the ancient tower of the Amethyst Academy, which once lay in the city. You can roughly see the route that you might be taking come morning from your vantage point here. The Dran River lazily flows through the city, and the further out it goes, coming from the north and then flowing to the south. The night passes rather uneventfully. It's pretty cold, and as morning comes, so do the rains once more. That soft pitter-patter that wakes you up every morning. It's never a bright day in Drakkenheim.
Is that
Oh, I have no idea what they're
It is a long rest.
Is it like the evil rain? How evil is this rain? Because the last rain was like normal rain, but is this like more or less?
I mean, all rain is evil. Look what it does to my fur. It's just-
It's very wet, and today the rain is little more than spitting. It's just that rough, kind of misty rain that falls lightly and makes everything wet, seeping inside your armor, getting the leather wet and causing it to chafe against your skin. Fortunately, it's not a downpour, which will make crossing the river possible. Because on a heavier rain, crossing the Dran River, it's a wide river, so it's dangerous to cross on a rainy day. Especially so because, as Veo can remind you, the bridges that span the Dran River are inside the city walls. There's no crossing outside of the city walls, mainly because Drakkenheim was built over the trade route that is the Dran River. And so the city built itself so that you had to go through the gates and thus get taxed in order to cross the river here. So the nearest crossings are miles and miles down. Veo, do you have a solution for that?
I know a guy.
Yeah, you don't like getting wet.
No.
And you don't like going too far into the city.
This is true.
So how do you propose we get past the river?
Yeah, because I'm like, with my armor, I'm like really good at drowning.
And
Well-
with my natural lack of strength, I'm really bad at swimming in general or doing any physical activity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
just
I don't like
tuckers
to
them out.
touch the water at all. But luckily, there's Giuseppe, aka Styx, and he's going to help us get across the river.
Friend of yours?
An old
Say that.
an old acquaintance.
Old, definitely, yes. How old? I have no idea. But we
This is
we have a deal
ominous.
going that, you know,
Yeah, why do you sound ominous when you said
Yeah,
that?
why?
we'll see when we get there.
Oh, that's even more ominous. Oh,
I'm gonna try to swim.
Don't try to swim, please.
Do you want to warn them of the dangers of the area around Temple Road?
Yes. So, in terms of Temple Road, there's a bunch of knolls there. Probably not the easiest route to go, but I mean,
I'm assuming we all know what knolls are.
Yes.
they have like the best laughs, but I try to avoid them when I can.
I mean, the good thing is you can usually hear them coming because of their laughs, but I don't know, can you? Are they sneaky? I have no idea. I've never fought gnolls.
I just avoid them on the rooftops if I can. So, I don't really go down the south, but you know, do lots for you guys since we've been together.
I'm
so.
sure we can handle it.
Yeah.
Pluto.
I'm not afraid of gnolls.
Good.
Did I tell you about that troll I killed?
Yes.
Okay.
Usually about once a day.
Just making sure, just doing the daily check.
You were on top of it. It was on top of you.
Yep.
Your brother was there.
Yep.
Yeah. It was good times.
Yeah, you get the gist of it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
Every
Cool.
once in a while, people think I'm a gnoll, but you know, it's really heartbreaking. I am much prettier than a gnoll.
Hmm.
You know, at least I think so.
I mean, some gnolls are okay.
Depends.
I don't know. Are they?
No, they're very much not.
I like
Knolls had never been seen in the world, never known until the meteor fell on Drakkenheim.
Oh, that's weird.
They are uniquely found only in Drakkenheim, and they have been a scourge of the city for over 12 years. Monstrous packs of hyena-like men raging through the city streets. At least when they hunt in large packs, you have the advantage of being able to see them coming. But when they hunt in small groups, they utilize stealth to stalk their prey through the city streets.
Like dirty dogs, honestly. Like, ugh.
Ironically, I think
I'll think
the
of what I was
hyena
gonna say later.
is actually closer related to
Come back.
felines
Come
than
back.
canine.
Come back to me.
It's curious, Veo, you suspect that perhaps the
Look it up,
gnolls have eaten
if you don't
every
believe.
dog in Drakkenheim.
Well, it's a dog-eat-dog world.
Every dog has its day.
Doggone it.
Should have saved some of them. we blew all our good dog lines and we haven't even met
We haven't
any-
even started walking yet, and they're all gone.
Yeah, they're all gone. There's no more dog jokes
Well,
that could
yeah,
ever be
well,
made in the course of this entire campaign. I'm sure we'll find one. So with that, you break camp and you opt to set out. Veo, how will you lead the way?
Well, I'm definitely going to be out front so I can make sure we're going in the right direction. But, guys, keep it low key. We're going to avoid these knolls if we can. And I want to make my way over to Giuseppe so that way we can get across the river without incident. Sound good?
I'm good at avoiding incidents.
Highly doubt that.
That's a lie.
It's not what I've heard.
There's been a few, but usually I can go at least a few hours without causing an incident.
Listen, if you're not running on your tippy toes, you're not running properly.
That's really hard. I'll do my
I
best.
do it all the time.
That's weird. It's not the most efficient way of running.
Humans and half-elves.
Uh,
We'll do our best then
offensive.
to be as sneaky as possible, but know that your armor's probably not going to help. So I can only do so much. I can lead the way, but
Yeah, leave the armor behind.
Oh, man. I mean, logically, that seems like a good idea.
Did you clean it last night?
Oh, yeah.
How well did you do?
Not well. It's just super wet now.
and it's probably going to
I
get
didn't
dirty.
dry it right, and now it's going to get all moldy.
Do you guys remember last night when I told you that I wasn't scared to go to Emberwood Village?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm scared.
All right. Well, we'll start by going to the south of Sprawl, and hopefully your nerves will catch up with you as we go. We're gonna cross that river, okay, and then we're gonna go through the spokes to our Emberwood Village. That'll be our quicker way of doing it rather than going all the way around.
All right, lead the way.
So
Let's
how
go.
do we want to do our order? Should I be in the back? In the middle?
Let's just walk side by side.
Old hands.
Okay. We'll do like the linking arms.
I'm walking
I'm
in
not
front.
scared of walking through Drakkenheim. I'm scared of Emberwood Village.
Oh,
But
okay.
Drakkenheim's so much scarier than Emberwood Village. Why would you
Not
be scared?
for all of us.
One of them's a city, one of them's a village.
I have history there. I haven't been back in a very long time. That's where I grew up. That's where I was born.
Oh.
Oh, you guys didn't know that?
I-
You knew that.
I knew that.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
I killed a troll.
I know. Thank you, Pluto. Thank you. You're such a good
Yeah, I
friend.
tell you all the time about my exploits. You never talk about yourself.
I try to keep it under wraps. It's not important. Don't worry about it. Forget it. Let's go.
When was the last time you were in Emberwood Village, Sebastian?
15 years ago, a few days before the incident that destroyed the city.
Well, as you talk your way through the city streets, heading back through the Cairn Hills towards the city first, as again the buildings begin to rise up around you, heading down the Shepherd's Way, you'll be crossing through the Sprawl proper this time, the area between the two main thoroughfares that come into the city from the west, Temple Road and Shepherd's Way. Temple Road, of course, leads right to the Temple Gate, which further in leads to the Grand Cathedral of Drakkenheim, also known as the Cathedral of St. Vitruvio. The Shepherd's Way leads deeper into the north end of the city, where the old city watch, the Hooded Lanterns, keep their barracks. The Sprawl, however, is the newest part of Drakkenheim. It is the area where the latest developments of the poorest people in the city were built. So most of the buildings out here are little more than cottages.
So affordable housing projects?
Wooden buildings that have almost entirely collapsed through ill maintenance. Here and there are a few stone buildings, but as you move further south towards the Temple Road, once again the buildings begin to be built up a little bit more. There are larger stone tenement buildings, more cottages, and increasingly the city streets kind of move in close clusters, because as you come towards Temple Road, there are many smaller chapels that the old worshippers of the sacred fire would all file into, because, of course, as large as the Cathedral of St. Petruvio was, for all the faithful of Drakkenheim, there were never enough places of worship. And so even the approach of Temple Road, there's several wooden buildings, and then all of them kind of cluster around a square where there's usually a large chapel devoted to the sacred fire. And for the most part, the chapels are large stone buildings with many chimneys for the fires that were used in the sacred rituals of the old faith. Temple Road and this area of the Sprawl is a very desolate part, though. And as you move further and further into this area, you're used to seeing the odd corpse in different areas of Drakkenheim, particularly in the
Well,
Sprawl.
that's where that thing
But
went.
the closer you get to Temple Road, there aren't many corpses that have been left to lie and not rot, because corpses don't rot in Drakkenheim. Rather, instead you see only piles of discarded bones, sometimes chimes that have been left up in the wind, and the remains of several campfires and cooking spits, where the gnolls of the area have used this as their hunting grounds, and the remains of their last meal replace the corpses that you'd normally find in Drakkenheim. For the gnolls have thoroughly picked this area clean, and as their hunting grounds expand, it becomes more and more dangerous. What will you do now?
Can't stop here. This is Knoll country.
Are you guys opposed to traveling by rooftop? That's normally the route I would take personally.
How far of a jump is it from rooftop to rooftop?
In this part of the city, very far. The cobblestone streets inside Drakkenheim, it's very easy to leap rooftop to rooftop. But in the Sprawl, many of the buildings, the roofs themselves aren't safe, especially for someone like Peludo, who weighs substantially more. If you're light as a cat like you, Veo, it's pretty safe, and you can leap from rooftop to rooftop, but you suspect that these two might not be able to keep up with you doing that.
I start doing practice jumps on the ground to see how far I can jump, and it's like a few feet. I try my hardest, and I actually line up two houses, and I'm on the street next to them, and I'm like, can I jump from this one to the other? And I jump, and I make it just a couple feet off, and I'm like, okay, no,
Well,
it's not going to work.
takes away my normal travel route. Well, I guess we're going to have to be careful on the streets.
My normal travel route is to walk down the middle of the street, and anything that comes at me, I talk politely to them and then burn them.
Yeah, well, we're not really going to be able to talk too well to these animals.
Have you tried?
No.
Well, okay.
Okay, I got an idea. I'll wear some bone chimes, and I'll walk down the middle of the road, and you guys hide in the shadows and on the rooftop, and then
Are we trying to lure them to us?
Oh, maybe not.
I'm just like, no.
I'm fascinated with the bone chimes. I'm
like,
These are
do you
nice.
want to get us eaten by gnolls?
These are nice.
And in particular, judging by the number of bone chimes and the several totems in the area, there's a very distinct smell of animal urine in the air.
Animals.
Smells like Emberwood Village.
Oh.
Or maybe that was just the house I grew up in. I'm not
You come up to one of these bone chimes, or one of the small effigies of totems, a spear stuck in the ground with several skulls lined through it, and even approaching it, you can smell this musk of urine and probably feces as well that the gnolls are using to mark their territory.
What kind of skulls? I walk up to one of the totems and I'm examining the skulls.
Several human skulls, maybe the odd dwarf skull, judging by how broad it is.
How fresh is the urine?
How proficient are you in nature or medicine?
Would you accept survival?
Yeah. I would.
Ah!
Give me a survival check.
I did a biology experiment in Caspia, and it was all about urine.
Yes, you did.
You
And I rolled a 23.
You put your nose right up to the totem, sniff it,
This is the only way to really know what kind
Are
of...
you like,
and you're like, it's still wet. It's not wet from rain. It's wet. Something has recently relieved itself here.
Something has recently relieved itself here.
I say we move cautiously. Should we take the stealthy approach through this part?
Quickly and quietly.
I leave the 3 sets of bone chimes I've collected.
Okay, so they've taken a long rest at this point.
And
I think.
continue on down the road.
So that means he's got all his stuff.
I'm going to like not walk down the middle of the street. I'm going to push myself kind of up against the houses and kind of like peek out from them, and then move to the next one quickly. And I'm going to kind of like just be a little more cautious in my movements.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm starting to shift along and like run a little bit with my arms behind my back, and I keep looking back, being like, "Come on, come on!"
And Pluto?
Boom, boom, boom.
Okay. Are you moving out ahead there?
Like ahead of them?
Yeah.
A little bit, but I'm trying not to stay more than like 10 feet ahead of them.
Okay.
Just to make sure that we don't get lost, because I am their guide. I want to make sure, it is my job to get them through the city.
I'm imagining you're like running 10 feet ahead. You turn around, realize that we're not keeping up. Wait, run,
Yeah.
turn.
If
Wait.
you want to do like a little bit of a scouty, you'll hear us.
Yeah, Vale, why don't you climb? Are you okay with climbing?
Yes.
You could climb and maybe scout out ahead from a vantage point. See what's up.
Yeah, I'll get up on a building and
Sure.
climb up. How tall are the buildings around here?
There's a few here that are a couple stories high. You're coming to the intersection of where Temple Road proper is.
Mm.
So you have connected, you've come through the Sprawl now and are standing along Temple Way, or Temple Road. And you can look up and you can see in the distance, about 500 feet away, you can see Temple Gate. And you can see the kind of the echoes of smoke, and now in the air you can actually smell the fires of burning meat, and it smells like pork in the air.
I smell barbecue. Should we go?
Avoid the delicious smell.
Ugh.
I know that Temple Gate has been taken over by the gnolls, so I would not go in that direction.
Looking towards Temple Gate, you can see the Cathedral of St. Vitruvio rising in the distance. Its massive glittering dome still kind of shining. As Veo, you take position up top this what looked like it used to be a cobbler's shop. The entire top floor has completely been sheared off, but you're able to kind of climb up the wall and take up a vantage point looking out over the city street. And as you climb up, you can catch sight in the distance. From here, you can see where Giuseppe's Pier is.
Ooh.
It's not that far away now, but you see movement in the street ahead of you.
Mm.
In the street ahead, dragging the corpse of a large Doberman, is another hound. This one almost the size of a pony. And its skin looks like it has been flayed off of it. And it is covered in sores and wounds, and bits of its fur is all matted off. And as it pulls, you can see that the dog that's still alive, this massive dog, has 2 heads. And each of the heads are kind of taking turns biting into the flesh of the dead dog and alternately dragging it back towards one of the buildings.
Mm.
The dog, you recognize this creature as one of the ones that the gnolls keep as their hunters.
Mm.
It has a diseased bite, and it howls with a howl that the gnolls can hear for almost a mile away.
Great.
Yep. And with it, and you know them to be very keen hunters.
Mm-hmm.
they usually can smell you before they see you.
Mainly you, because you smell. While you're
Just
up there,
you.
while you're up there scouting, me and Pluto are like leaning against the wall, just like chatting away. I don't know what about.
Yeah, and then there was 5 of them, but then I said, "You can't have all of it."
Are we within eyesight of each other?
Do you like my anecdote?
I love
They
that
are-
story, man. It's great.
They've kind of.
Good.
Sebastian's lit up a cigarette while he's listening to Paluto regale of his tales, and you're all there at the base of the building,
It's about the first book
and
I
you've
read.
hopped up to view down from above.
I try to lean. How far away is the dog?
Perhaps 60, 80, maybe 100 feet.
And then I set them all on fire.
I
Again.
I want to half crawl down the building and just like wave at them to
Mhm.
try to get their attention.
Hello, Veo.
Guys,
Duck?
No, I think she wants our attention.
What would you like?
She didn't hear your story. Tell her your story.
I
Oh.
shush them.
Yes,
like,
and then I
shh.
I think she wants us to be quiet.
Oh, okay. It's true.
And I try to motion towards an alley that's a little bit beside the building that I'm at, away from the dog.
I walk over to the alley and I point. I'm like, this one? Okay.
Thumbs up.
I go quieter than you.
Yeah.
I'm like, we really should have figured out a signal system before separating,
You're
but I'm
thinking
doing my
that,
best.
And I'm turning to Pluto. I'm like, maybe we should have thought of a signal
Can we use the one
system.
from last time? What was it?
Pork chops.
Pork chops.
Too loud.
And she makes the
Yes. Pork chops?
I'm trying not to be loud because I'm like, "Ee."
Okay.
Actually, I then kind of roll my eyes and I just crawl back down the building.
I catch
And
on.
the
I
thumbnail.
I've smelled the urine. I know something's close.
Yeah. So
It still stings my nostrils.
What did you see?
there's a really nasty two-headed dog that the gnolls usually have about 100 feet. We got to get out of here or else it's going to smell us.
Is it alone?
It is not alone. It's got a meal in its mouth, but that's not going to stop it from heading towards us.
Okay, so we kill the dog, we steal its meal, we eat for the night, and we avoid the gnolls.
If it makes any sort of sound, gnolls from a mile around are going to hear us. So we need to be really careful and cautious about how we get around it, because once that happens, we are covered in gnolls. And it's
Fair enough.
not fun.
I'm gonna trust you on this one, Veo. What do you think we should do?
Number one, is there any way to cover your scent? You have more of that urine that you can roll in or something like that?
We have to roll in urine? Is that your plan?
That would be one thing.
Pluto. You know the drill. We're doing this one again.
This reminds me of
That one job that we did.
that one job we did.
Can that be a thing? Can we just say this reminds me of that one job we did?
Yeah, it's just this is just like the land of urine. No, the land of, you remember,
Yes, I do.
what was it called again?
The land of tacos,
Tacos. Yeah.
where we peed on each other to avoid
Okay,
detection.
okay,
So I'm gonna go scrounge up some of this totem urine,
okay.
and I'm gonna start rubbing it on my armor.
Oh, it's very disgusting.
I'm
I'm used to it
I do the same.
because of my biology work.
Okay.
And I already smell terrible, so I mean, like,
Yeah, do
that'll be
they
good
do they
enough.
like avoid you, or do you smell distinctly like terrible cat?
I'd say distinctly like terrible cat, but like,
You might want to rub some urine on you.
Just a little bit.
I take a little bit, but a little bit just above my nose. I'm like, there.
Mm.
It's like perfume. All right, so let's try to avoid. Like, I saw the pier. I know where it is. We just have to try to avoid getting to the knolls. So we could take like a semi back way around. That would be better for us to
Yeah,
avoid.
sure.
Okay, I'm gonna follow you cautiously,
Yeah,
soaked in urine, but
I'd
with
rather
my
move slower and quieter than.
sword ready.
All right.
Okay. In this moment, I'm going to have all of you make a stealth check. Pluto?
9.
Sebastian?
18.
12.
Daniel? Okay. You begin crossing Temple Road, the wide street leading into the city, heading towards the pier. Pluto, you quickly trudge across the street, and as you do so, you can see the dog in the
Oh.
street eating the other dog, and it seems to be completely distracted.
Yes.
Sebastian, you move across as well, getting to the other side of the street. Veo, as you cross, the dog suddenly turns, and its nose perks up, and it sniffs. It seems like you didn't cover yourself in enough urine.
Not enough urine.
Thought my bad smell would be enough.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
What if it eats cats?
That being the operant logic there.
Didn't take my own advice.
And the hound perks up, and as it does so, it turns to face the direction that you all crossed, but you've all already crossed. Unfortunately, Pluto kind of shifts a little bit and ends up knocking over a wagon wheel, and there's a clatter in the street, and the dog starts growling, both of its heads going kind of, and it's like a 2-part harmony in one creature of growling as it begins walking down Temple Road towards the intersection. What will you do?
Okay, I have an idea. I'll stay here if you guys want to get the jump on it when it comes around the corner.
What's our current... So we're up against a building at a corner, and the dog's coming one way, and we're around the corner the other way?
Yep. It's now or never. There's not much time to think.
Is there windows? Is there... You said there was a wagon.
Right away.
There is.
I'm going to jump in the back of the wagon and hide.
Okay.
I'm going to run up the side of a wall as quickly as I can across that building.
And Pluto?
And I'm gonna swipe the first thing that walks around that corner. Ideally, a dog.
Okay.
A hydro dog.
Let's put your miniatures forward.
Where are we?
This is the wagon pit.
On the building.
Okay.
On the building. Where's the dog coming?
Yep.
In the wagon.
You want to be inside the wagon.
Well, maybe just on the front.
Okay.
Perched, kind of hidden around that corner there, just hidden up on the seats of the wagon.
Okay. So you can see the 2-headed creature coming around the corner. And Veo, as you hop back up onto the building, give me a quick perception check.
A 9.
Okay. I will have you all roll for initiative, please.
Here it goes.
Got 18.
Nice.
Yes.
16.
14.
Okay.
We all rolled pretty
We
decent.
did good.
Okay, we can look at this. I'm a.
Pluto, what you got?
I got
What you got, Pluto?
16.
16. Sebastian?
I got a 14.
14?
18.
Okay. Okay. You've all done very well on initiative. But
Sounds like butt.
the Death Dog, Sebastian, Ludo, Veo,
And the gnolls.
Oh, there's no gnolls.
Okay. Here's where we're at. Pluto, could you put that guy right at the end of the street?
So there's a knoll.
There we are. Okay.
Oh no.
So, Veo, as you leap to the top of the building, you don't see the knoll come around the street corner before it is able to take a shot with its barbed arrow right at you. So you leap to the top. This knoll here comes around the corner.
Yep.
And fires a shot at you. It gets an 11 to hit your AC. The shot goes wide, and basically the arrow comes right up, and at the split second you see it, and you move your head, and it just cuts the edge of your ear just ever so slightly as the arrow whisks past you. But another shot careens towards you. This time you're aware of it, and it only gets a 11 as well to hit, and you're able to hit the deck and avoid the shot. Whiz right by you. Ooh.
That's another cool scar that I'm going to have. Sweet.
Veo, it is your turn. You can
Alright.
see now the two gnolls coming from either side of the street. Both of them are hulking creatures, and they laugh as they come forward. This like kind of giggling as they fire the shots. The two of them are carrying these massive bows because both of them are almost 7 feet tall. Two of them carry huge longbows that look like they're made out of a combination of wood and animal bone. And they carry at their hips these quivers of barbed arrows. The two of them also appear to be carrying pairs of scything blades, almost like machetes. They're both lightly armored, and you can see at their belts are several severed heads, which have been embalmed and shrunken at their sides. And the two of them giggle and laugh and lick their chops, excited at the fresh meal ahead of them. What will you do, Veo?
So I can still see the two-headed dog.
You can. You have a clear shot on everybody from up here.
Okay. I want to take... I'm more concerned with the dog, only because if he starts howling a little bit more, then he can call more gnolls. So I'm going to try to take him out before we get to the gnolls. So I'm going to take a shot at him.
Okay.
With my bow. And I get
You have advantage because of your elevated position.
I get
There it is.
24.
Fantastic. The arrow lands soundly in the shoulder blade of the massive death dog.
Uh, 10 damage.
Its left head howls out. Oh!
Whoops.
No.
quietly. And I take my second shot at its other head as well.
Okay.
With advantage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quietly dying.
Quietly die. That's a 23.
The arrow sings forward, splitting the first arrow.
Okay, and then on my second shot, I get an extra D8 because of my dread ambusher. So I'm gonna take that. And
Oh god.
16 damage on that head. And after I take that shot, I try to
good damage.
hop down off of the perch that I'm on onto the top of the building to crouch down a little bit and get out of the way of the, hopefully, arrows.
Sounds fantastic. The death dog whimpers in pain as it is bloodied by the barrage of arrows that take it in the side, but it still continues to limp forward. Pluto, you're next.
I, following Veo's lead, I'm gonna rush the dog.
Cool. So you leap out into the city street from around the wagon, and go stand toe to toe against this massive hound.
And I say, "Your dog days are over." I found another one, and I get a 18.
That is a solid hit. Roll
for
the damage.
14 damage.
So,
I want
the beast is slain. What do you do?
On the middle of its two heads and just separate it.
So, just taking all the weight of your longsword into your hand, you bring it right down between the two heads of the death dog, splitting it asunder. And you can hear both the heads kind of like whimper and barking as like it spurts and coughs with blood. And but you seem to have severed the vocal cords in the process, like wherever it draws the air from its lungs, and it collapses to the ground in a bloody heap.
And then I turn to Sebastian. I go, "Did you hear my line?" And that's my turn.
Is it me now?
It is you, Sebastian.
Sebastian did not hear your line, and
Oh man, I should have yelled
he
it.
steps out and points at the dog and goes, "Your dog days," and then realizes it's dead, and it's like, "Oh, all right." Is the knoll?
There's one knoll here and one knoll at the end of the street.
So I move up so that I can see the knoll, and I'm just going to cast a firebolt at him.
Okay.
And so I point at him. That's a 25.
25. Your firebolt whistles through the air and crashes into the knoll with a fiery burst.
For 10 damage.
We got those hot dice.
It sends the knoll almost off its feet completely, but then it kind of buckles forward and puts its hands back on its bow.
What's the matter, hot dog? And then I go back around
It's
to the side.
Real shame that they actually are more biologically similar to cats.
Okay. Yipping, barking, and laughing, the two gnolls rush forward down the street.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
As they do so, they keep their hands on their bows. The one chasing after Sebastian, and it takes 2 shots at you, Sebastian. I'm going to give you a +2 cover bonus because you're hiding behind the wagon.
Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum.
I get a 15 and a 12.
The 15 hits.
All right. The arrow bites into you, and it sings forward, and it actually hits you in the thigh.
Oh.
Your speed is reduced by 10 feet, and you take 6 points of piercing damage.
Ouch.
Ooh. The other gnoll lowers its bow and fires the shots towards Paluto. Getting a 20 and a 6.
Well, yeah, 20's good.
The arrow also, it very deliberately seems to be aiming for your legs, almost to slow you down. Your speed is reduced by 10 feet, and you take 8 points of piercing damage. Veo, as we move to your turn, you can see coming from the direction of Temple Road, Temple Gate, there might be a few more lurking forms in the distance.
We've got company.
Good. I needed a challenge.
Caca! Caca!
Pork chops.
Pork chops!
Pork chop.
Actually, yeah, when I get hit in the leg, I yell pork chops. Pork chops.
Ah, pork chops.
Pork chops.
Veo,
All right.
what will you do?
I jump back up to my little perch that I had and saying, "You dogs better shut your cake holes." And I aim at the gnoll who shot at Pluto.
Okay.
Right in his mouth as I try. Do I still have that vantage point, or?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that is a 24 to hit.
The arrow sings forward and strikes the gnoll. Roll the damage.
That is 10 damage.
Okay. It's wounded but still alive. It as it goes forward, it rips into the arrow as it hits it, throws it out of its body, and just lets the blood flow from the wound. Anything else, Veo?
Dread Ambusher, is that just on my first?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's it. I actually hop back down. I'm like, ooh. I think I made him mad.
Okay. Paluto, where were you?
Leaving the corpse of the dog, I'm gonna rush the closer one to.
Okay. All right. You limp forward with the arrow still sticking out of your Achilles tendon towards the knoll that shot at Sebastian.
Ow. And I'm gonna just bring my sword down on this knoll. Ooh, getting an 11.
As you step forward and leap forward, you put all your weight in the blade, and the knoll just it pounces backwards and laughs at you, and growls a little bit.
Can I use my precision strike at this moment?
Yes, you can.
Oh yeah, 19.
So as it leaps out of the way, in a moment of clarity, you get it with the backswing.
Yes.
Roll the damage.
I got a 13.
The backswing of your blade, as you bring it back up, catches the knoll in the bottom of its jaw, sending it, basically cutting off the entire front part of its stubby snout, and it collapses to the ground in a heap.
Smell you later. That's not a good dog one, but that's my turn.
I
Honestly,
heard that one.
not bad.
No, you're supposed to
It
hear
was
that one.
average.
Let's hear that one.
Sebastian, we move over to you.
All right. Let's just see here. Oh no, my speed is reduced.
You have to say "ow" every 5 feet of movement.
Can I
Ow.
see through this
Ow.
door? If I get to this door back here.
Yeah, you could. The door that we can't see on stream, but
Just poke your head out.
yeah.
Yes, there's a door. There's a back door, and I pop my head through and see the other knoll. And I'm gonna fire a firebolt at him as well.
Okay.
That's 20
It's 20. It hits.
for 9 damage.
The firebolt crashes into the knoll, and the smell of seared hyena flesh can be it fills the air as it collapses to the ground, dead.
Yeah.
That's 1 for me.
Yeah.
That's all of them, right?
Caca?
All I yell is, that dog couldn't learn any new tricks. Did I get it? Did I get it?
That was a good one, Veo.
The challenge. I enjoy the challenge of the new dog lines. Coming up with fresh dog lines every time.
Remember, we got company coming.
Technically, hyenas are more closely related to cats than they are to dogs, but we'll overlook that for now.
We'll allow
I'm
it.
just like,
I'm
we
going to
don't
allow
discuss
this.
that relation.
Thank
We don't
you.
discuss it.
Thank you.
So, do we see anything else, or are we?
It was only Veo that saw that, right?
But yeah, elevated from that position, it seemed like in the midst of the distance, because remember, there's a light rain coming down, so your visibility is limited to about 200, 300 feet away.
Mhm.
But you are certain that you saw more forms approaching. Even though you managed to take down the gnolls swiftly and the death dog before it could bark out, where there's this many, there's far more.
My confidence is high and my guard is down, and I'm just standing in the street.
You're literally in the middle of an intersection. I mean, I would say we should get going quickly, but I think I'm a little wounded.
Ow.
Yeah, it hurts to walk.
Well, we should move as quickly as
We should hobble away as quickly as possible.
Yeah. It's only a few moments to pull the arrows out, and you're able to get moving again, and your speed is returned to normal. What would you like to do?
I grab your arm, put it around my shoulder, and I'm like, let's get out of here before the rest of the gnolls come. I start to go towards the dock.
Okay. That swiftly, you're able to get into the city streets and into the alleyways. And at this stage, it seems like you might have lost their tail after a few minutes of kind of moving through the alleyways in this part of the Temple Road district.
Veo, you because you're holding me.
Are you
Holding
both
you?
of us?
You're because you're holding Sebastian. You get a lot more urine on you now than you wanted.
Oh.
I mean, it just mixes in with my already,
I need a
alluring
bath.
aroma. I ain't worried about it.
Mhm.
Superb. Moving through the densely packed back alleys in the south end of the Sprawl, past a few more chapels, shops, tenement buildings, and homes. Eventually, the smell of sewage is palpable on the air. You're getting close to the Dran River.
Are you able to tell what district you're in based on the stench?
Yeah, it's unfortunately become a specialty of mine.
Drakkenheim is a smelly city. It was known for its smells in its day, and some things never change.
Yeah.
Is it more smelly now, or was it always this smelly?
More.
I would say definitely like smelly-er, but just the stenches were always there. It's just they've been amplified a little bit by all the death.
Yeah.
In its day, Drakkenheim stunk of smoking meat, industrial production, sweaty masses, human waste, animal waste, horses, pigs,
So it got
cows.
more exotic.
There were a lot of smells in the city, particularly in the south part of Drakkenheim, where most of the industry and commerce took place.
Yeah. Just less death smell.
Yeah.
Well, that's the new one, is
Yeah.
the decay and death.
Kinda
Although not really decay. No
Adds on
decay.
top of it
Oh,
all.
what's a meteor smell like?
What does the meteor smell like? The
Sprinkles.
delirium smells of ozone.
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind of like that electric smell of that smell of like a fresh lightning bolt. You can usually smell that quite distinctly when you're in an area close to delirium.
We haven't seen any delirium this whole walk. Have we?
Well, you are moving during the day, and
much
so the ghost lights that would normally guide you towards deposits of delirium that are in the ruins. It's much harder to find delirium by day unless you're going for a large deposit.
Mhm. Yeah, this is not normally where I would come to get delirium, so less traveled for sure. All right, you ready to meet Giuseppe?
yeah.
AKA Sticks. My bud Sticks.
Does he offer bandages for wounded thighs?
No. Probably not, no.
Fair enough. I'm fine.
Yeah, I'll walk it off.
I could tie
I'll
it with a
walk it
rope
off.
if you want.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'll walk it
It
off.
was what you did to the last person. You tied off a wound with a rope.
Yeah,
Hey, they survived.
You
barely.
walk through the southern sprawl towards the piers of the Dran River. And for a moment, the city is very dense. The streets are very tightly packed. And then as soon as you get close to the river itself, there's a wide pier along the edge of the city out here. It goes all the way up to the edge of the city wall, and you can see to the north at the Dran River. You see looking north the city wall that comes right up to the river. And the way that it's been built is the city wall stretches across the river. It was this massive feat of engineering that goes right across it, almost like a dam. But then there's this big open archway that has several bars going through it that crosses the river's span. And on the opposite side of the Dran River, from where you are at the pier, you can look across and you can see the Spokes, which is the southern area of Drakkenheim. It's much larger than the Sprawl. It's much older. It's the first part of the city where, beyond the city walls, once the city walls were built, the Spokes were already in place. So the Spokes were the Sprawl, and then the Sprawl happened. And in time since, the Spokes were built up as much more of an industrial district, a feeder district, to the inner part of the South City, where the South Ward is, which was the industrial part of Drakkenheim, the part of the city where the meteor struck. Dominating the skyline here, though, is the part where the city walls double in height, and there are 3 tall towers that rise up on the eastern bank of the city wall that you can see across. And they come up into high steeples and guard towers. This is St. Salinas, the one-time prison, one-time asylum, and now apparently a refuge point for the pilgrims that come into the city. Looking across out the wide pier, the whole side of the river has all been built up. So there's no natural banks anymore in this part of the Duran River. It's all been built up with stonework. And at one point, the piers here would have had several boats that would have been loaded up outside the city to go south, because the river flows out south and then down and out. And so you come to the piers, which are mostly desolate. The city kind of ends at about a 40 feet wide plaza of brick before the edge of the water itself. And Veo, you lead them towards the spot where you know Giuseppe is. It's this stone pier that used to look out from a tavern that's now just a blasted ruin. And at the edge of the piers, there is a pile of goods. And amongst the pile of goods, you recognize the familiar kind of landmark that marks where Giuseppe keeps the boat. It is a pile of grain, several corpses of dead chickens, and a dead fox.
This is the place.
Neat.
Is your friend the fox?
Think I'm crazy? No.
Yes, you've lived alone in the city for 15 years.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
that's-
put it past you.
yeah, it's
Okay, well,
actually
you can
pretty.
consider me a little bit crazy, but I'm not crazy on this. Giuseppe, awesome guy. Sticks, he knows his stuff. He's gonna get us across this river. We're all safe.
I look around the area. Do I see anybody that I might consider to be Giuseppe or this Styx, as she refers to it?
Well, the pier is built up so that the water level is actually about 12 feet down. So the pier is probably out of sight. Like, you'll have to walk up to the water's edge to see what she might be referring to. Looking across the river, you can see several other piers and the remains of several boats and bits of wreckage. There's actually a few bits of wreckage hanging in the river. The river still flows quite well, but as far as a person standing around here, there's nobody. You can hear, though, the sloshing of a boat that might be moored at the side.
I casually walk up to the edge of the water or the edge of the pier, and I look down to see what I can see.
As you look down and get close to the water, the smell of sewage and that smell of birds and seagulls that they leave behind is palpable in the air. Because you can see that down the ways, there's several sewer drains draining out into the south part of the river here. This is where all the sewage of the city ends up getting dumped out, because then it flows south and out. And you look down, and there is a stone ladder that leads down about 10 feet to a rough stone pier where several more barrels and boxes have been stacked up, and a large rowboat has been moored against it with a bit of rope. And there is a man, his hood drawn up over his face, wearing a large storm coat, like a fisherman's coat, holding the rope in one hand that's mooring the boat, and with a walking stick kind of braced in his hand as well, and the 2 oars at his side. And you can see his legs poking out from under the raincoat are both pegs.
I turn back to you, and I'm like, Sticks.
Is he there?
The walking stick,
Sticks.
the leg sticks.
That's not why we
The
call them
oars?
sticks.
The oars?
I yelled, I called down, and I'm like, what Giuseppe? Giuseppe, I'm Sebastian Crow, mage slayer and conversation enthusiast.
You hear a low groan.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I understand you're a friend of Veo's.
Another groan is heard.
He likes you.
I'm a little confused. We'd like to take a ride on your boat, sir.
There is another groan.
Is that a yes?
Yeah. Let's go. Come on.
How do we get down?
Down
Can
the
we,
ladder,
do we
down the
climb the
ladder.
ladder?
Climb the ladder down.
Okay.
Yep.
And I start climbing down the ladder.
One thing I'll say is be careful when you're going down, because if you fall in this water, like delirium's not the only thing around here that's going to give you 3 eyes. So just be
Oh.
careful.
Oh.
Delirium can give you 3 eyes?
Does the boat look safe?
Boat looks pretty sturdy. It's very waterlogged, and you can see bits of moss clinging to it. It looks like it hasn't been pulled out of the water itself in 15 years.
So, business is good. Giuseppe?
If you look down at the man, you can see that bits of his face have been torn away, and he has a skeletal jaw. And one of his eyes is hanging out of its socket.
Oh, God. Giuseppe.
I think your friend's dead.
Who did this to you?
Yeah.
He groans.
Was
yeah,
it the
he
dogs?
knows he's dead. Don't worry. And I climb down the ladder.
I'm trying to decide if he's like groaning because his body's just like giving out death groans or if he's a zombie. So I kind of like I poke him.
He responds and moves back a little bit. He adjusts his stick and groans.
I pat him on the back. I'm like, "Hey, Sticks, how you doing?" Yeah, the Maria is looking beautiful. Looks like you've been really taking care of her. Do you mind if we take a little stroll across the water here?
And he holds out his hand.
And I give him a little piece of fish. I'm like, "Is that good enough for today?" Listen, I'm a little bit tight right now, so. I know. I'm sorry. Do you guys got anything you can give him to, help him across?
I take out a single copper piece and hand it to
It's
him.
very generous.
His fist closes, and he puts it in. There's this open bag that has several various copper coins, bits of gold, some pieces of delirium, several buttons, and miscellaneous clippings, and several fish heads as well.
He's easy to negotiate with. Don't worry.
Are we supposed to get in this boat? This boat doesn't.
I've been on less seaworthy vessels.
I'm already in the boat. I'm like, come on.
I'm going to get in the boat.
Okay.
I begrudgingly kind of look around at my other options and then step into the boat.
Okay.
What else is in the boat with us?
There's several old buckets of fish skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
There's no safety equipment in this boat. There are no safety features in this vehicle. There are 2 old oars and a fishing rod hanging off the side.
Perfect.
Does he look like he runs the show, or is it kind of up to us?
As you get into the boat, he puts his hands on the oars.
You okay to drive, big guy?
Sticks has got this. He runs into Sticks. That's what his job is.
Oh, he's undead. So he's like the river Styx.
No. That's not why we call him that. He does the sticks.
Oh.
Sticks.
I thought it was because of the legs.
I thought it was because, yeah.
Oh,
This
good.
is a confusing nickname.
You're
This is called
weird
Giuseppe.
people.
So, Giuseppe, how's life?
He says as he takes a stick out of the boat and uses it to push off from the pier, and puts it back in the boat and starts rowing across the Dran River.
See,
Are we going pretty quick?
It was a joke
It's
because he's
very
undead.
slow.
I'm leaning at the other side where the fishing rod is. I'm like, this is where I catch my best stuff on my own.
Mm.
Obviously, river gives me the best stuff, but
You just stated that this water will make you grow 3 eyes, but you eat fish from here?
yeah, the fish can have 3 eyes, but they don't give me 3 eyes. I'm just saying, don't fall into the water. You never know what you're gonna come out with.
Maybe fish.
I want to try to help Giuseppe row the boat. Does he
What, are you
accept
like,
my
You're
help?
not going fast enough.
Yeah, like I want to try to speed it up a bit.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
As you come up to help him, he groans a little bit, and you can see like a bit of his like the flesh of his face tries to smile, almost grandfatherly like, and he like shifts to the side and like goes and pats his hand on the seat beside him, and lets you take the other oar.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna help Giuseppe.
Sebastian is jealous because you now have a father figure.
Unfortunately, you're rowing far too fast for him, so the boat ends up going in circles.
I just gotta adjust to his pace anyways. Great.
I'm just like, well, we were gonna get there at his pace, but now we're just going in circles. We're not getting anywhere.
All right, so I'm still gonna take some of the load, but I'll go his speed.
I lean back and I just enjoy the ride. It's a good time. He does his thing.
I'm like peering over the edge of the boat into the water, trying to look for weird creatures or various things that could have mutated within this.
You see far in the distance, on the side of the river that you were coming from, there's an opening in the sewers, and you see what look like several large tortoise shells, but 4 of them swimming into the sewer.
Is that legit?
Yeah, they look like the tortoise shells look like the size of men.
I mean, Sebastian is like, oh, that's weird, but Kelly is very excited by this. Guys, there's 4 giant turtles heading towards the sewers over there.
Nothing phases me anymore like that. I mean, of course there are giant turtles coming out of this noxious water.
I'm going to name them. I'll come up with that later. To be continued.
It's a short jaunt across the wide Drown River. Takes about 10 minutes for Mr. Styx or Giuseppe to row across very slowly and deliberately. The boat, of course, going across the river, he has to often stop to adjust for the flow of the river because it pushes you south. But eventually he comes at a stopping point, and moors the boat, pulls it in towards the pier, and
I mean, you got us here. You guys
He's a
gonna say
man
thank
of
you?
few words. Thank you, Giuseppe.
Giuseppe, it was a pleasure, and I hold out my hand to shake his.
he reaches up with his hand, and you can see like bits of flesh are sloughing off of it, and there might be a worm in there.
Touch that.
I regret this decision, but now I'm committed.
And as you do, like it looks like some of his flesh is waterlogged, and bits of the flesh like fall off in your hand.
I feel like as I pull it back, there's like a piece of finger.
Yeah.
You dropped this, sorry, and I tuck it in his pocket.
Put in his bag.
Yeah.
I come off and I grab his shoulder and I say, "Bellissimo, Giuseppe." I like air kiss him, but I definitely don't touch him on both sides. I'm like, "Thanks as always, Styx. We'll see you around." And I climb back up.
Well, that went far better than I
Yeah,
expected.
that was actually pretty.
Told ya.
Six is there's still a couple of nice people in Drakkenheim.
That's about as nice as they get.
The undead.
It's a strange thing. Vale, you know of a few others, like Giuseppe or Mr. Styx?
Mm-hmm.
Zombies who, rather than responding with fury, seem to be playing out the last minutes of their lives over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sad place where, regardless, live, dead, just kind of live our lives as much as we can here. So, I mean, if he just loves his boat that much and wants to hang on, who am I to deprive him of a good stroll across the river?
I mean, seemingly that's a happy afterlife or unlife, or I don't really know how that all works, but he seems happy.
He's very joyful, yes.
I saw half a smile.
Ah, He said, I mean, he enjoyed your company, so I mean, I don't know if you get that from the us, but I did. Don't worry. He's a fan. We
Yeah,
could
I'm
probably.
still figuring out the language.
Let's hear your impression. You're.
I think that would be.
Your accent needs a little bit of work.
I'll work on it. I'm a man of many languages.
Fantastic. So, if we pull up our map once more, you're now in the southern area of Drakkenheim, a part of the city known as the Spokes. Here, the wooden buildings that were familiar on the western side of Drakkenheim, Sprawl, are replaced largely by larger buildings of stone. There are many warehouses, workshops, old factories, manufactories, a few guild halls,
So-
and many
No.
homes. For this part of the city, the Spokes, was the main city pathway into Drakkenheim. It was the largest and built-up district, kind of the real middle district. There are taverns, smaller marketplaces, all manner of businesses and shops, at least when the city was alive. Now, the Champion's Way, the main street which led into Drakkenheim from the south to Champion's Gate, is a little bit of a pilgrim's road, as it is known to you, Veo, that many of the pilgrims following the faith of the Falling Fire take this way into the city. And as a result of the thick alleyways, the stone buildings, many of which are good rooftop traveling, the Spokes are crawling with bandits, making for a pretty dangerous area to traverse, or one of the more profitable ones if you're a scavenger. But nevertheless, to the south is Emberwood Village, probably the safest area in this part of the world.
All right, so make sure you don't have anything hanging out of your pockets. Pluto, you're looking. I know you're probably not going to like this, but just a little bit too shiny for my liking.
Oh.
Going through this area, is there any way you can kind of cover it up a little bit?
Maybe I can.
Princely and all, but this is definitely the place you don't want to look princely.
But my princely. I guess I could dull it down a bit, but I just spent all day yesterday cleaning.
Listen, I told you it was wasted effort, but
Oh,
you're going to get dirty.
We still smell like urine.
Yeah, does that help?
That's half of it for sure.
Okay, I'm
I
gonna
mean, the
start.
bandits probably won't want to get anywhere near you. but-
I'm upset, but I'm gonna be kind of rubbing mud on the shinier parts of
Okay.
my
And
armor.
I'm laughing. Yes, you're
Can you
doing
get my
it.
back?
Oh yeah. Take the mud and I put it all over.
Oh
Ah.
man.
I take my bag of gold and I put it on my inside jacket pocket.
Yeah, that's a lot of gold that you're carrying.
Yes, it is.
Hmm.
You have
Oh
an-
yeah, should we split it up a bit? Like put it in a couple of different little bags?
I was gonna say if you have an inside pocket, that's
I do. I actually have a pocket where I carry spell things and delirium.
delirium.
It's my delirium pocket. It's a
Oh.
secret pocket that I have
Good.
in my coat.
Use all the secret pockets.
I put my gold in my secret pocket.
Don't shake your head at me. Secret
Okay.
pocket.
I don't really have anything much to steal, so
What about your fish?
I've just about eaten all of that.
Vea, which route will you lead them on through this area? Would you like to keep to the back alleys and the streets, or bring them down the Champion's Way itself?
You know what? Feel like either way. I think Champion's Way might be a little bit better for us. Just in case, because back alleyways we're probably gonna get mugged. So this is like the one time I go down a bigger road.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
We'll
much
follow you.
easier to be surprised in the back alleys, whereas in the Champion's Way, at least if someone's going to try to rob you, you're going to see them well in advance.
Oh yeah. And if we can't do rooftop, we have to go ground. Let's do the Champion's Way.
Okay. You make your way through several of the smaller streets There's one street leading directly from the pier that kind of weaves its way through the spokes to Champion's Way. And as you come towards the Champion's Way, you can see in the distance ahead of you a larger church, one of the many in this area as well. And you can hear what sounds like shouting coming from within. There's several gruff male voices, a few screeching women, and what sound like several crying children. Their cries and screams hanging in the air and kind of echoing off of the city walls inside the church.
I mean, I say we keep walking.
Oh,
There's
man.
children in trouble.
We gotta go.
There's always children in trouble. There's always people in trouble.
What
in
are
the city.
children doing in Drakkenheim, and why are they in trouble? That's worth investigating.
Well, they're in trouble because they're in
Maybe it's
Drakkenheim.
one of those. Like,
It's how you survive is not by listening to the screams of those around you.
You know how I've survived? Killing everybody that tries to hurt children.
you're not even a little curious.
I'm curious, but I've learned to turn that feline side of me off if I want to do anything in this city. But
What building is it coming from?
Seems like there is several, like the Sprawl, there are many ruined buildings in this area, but it seems like it's originating from the high steepled church that you can see in the distance. It's a large stone church, probably enough for a small flock of followers would have been there in their time. And it has a single high steeple with a bell tower and a large curved kind of nave to the church. It's on the Champion's Way itself. And so as you come up to get close to the Champion's Way, the streets kind of converge around it here.
I mean, it's on our way. If you guys are really curious, we can take a peek, but let's try not to put our feet into anything that we shouldn't get involved in.
I like being curious. It's done nothing but good things for me.
Well, I'm gonna just start walking towards the church.
And as you start walking, I'm like, curiosity killed the cat, guys. Just keep that in mind.
I run to catch up with Pluto, and I walk beside him with matching his stride because I want to look cool too.
I'm walking along the side of the road, like keeping pace with them, but also like if they get into anything, I want to be able to kind of dive in an alleyway. So I'm just like, I will keep an eye on you guys, but I feel like if you get me killed.
We've never gotten any of our navigators killed.
Not
Don't worry.
one navigator.
Not one.
Oh,
Except
no.
that one job.
Yeah.
I've heard
And-
a couple
and those
stories.
other ones, too.
Couple
there's
stories.
Yeah,
Okay.
there was
All
We're
right,
on the
dude.
side of caution.
Those
You come
PL.
around towards the church
Well, we'll land it like
on
that.
Champion's Way.
What do you expect the fate to be?
You see an interesting scene in the street. There are two distinct groups standing off against each other. Surrounding what looks like a large family consisting of maybe even the grandparents and several grandchildren are several bandits wearing purple bandanas. There are 10 of them.
Ooh, that's not good action coming.
And
Unless the family has fires.
several of them are halflings, some are dwarves, both men, women, people of various different creeds and backgrounds, all standing together with these purple bandanas. Several of them have crossbows out that are trained on the group of people in front of them, and a few of them hold blades out. One large, orange-haired man with a rather ugly-looking goatee that he has combed blue paint into and purple streaks through as well, stands out in front of them and is shouting because beside him is a charred corpse. And across from him, standing in front of the group of people, is a thin, older man with a very gaunt face, and he's wearing black robes. His head has been shaved, even his eyebrows have been shaved off. And he has branded onto his forehead a symbol that looks like a mix of a falling meteor and a roaring fire.
Fallen flame.
And he is holding out a rosary, a holy symbol, that is still burning with fire over the charred corpse. And you hear the gaunt man say, "Stand down! Let us pass peacefully. We're but pilgrims. I'm not afraid to fight."
Who struck first?
Are the
Who
people
had
in
you
purple
first?
bandanas, do they have any sort of insignia on them or anything that I can see as I walk up?
Beyond the purple bandanas, several of them have what looked like bits of rose bushes or thorns, either tied in their hair, worn like a carnation, or tied up in the bandana as well. You recognize these as the trappings of the Queen's men.
These guys are trouble.
There's 10 of them.
There's 10 of them. They
Oh,
travel in
man.
packs. Little guys.
I can't.
There's children there. There's
resist.
children there.
There is the preacher, the old wiry man, is standing in front of a group of 6. There is an elderly woman, a young man, what might be his wife or his partner, another middle-aged man, and then 2 children, 1 boy and 1 girl.
Oh man. I walk up and start approaching the man with the blue and in his beard.
As you approach the man saying, you hear the man with the blue and purple orange hair. He says to the preacher, "We're gonna take everything you got, old man. Your little
yeah.
flock can go ahead, but we're gonna skin you alive for what you did to Bogdan." And as you approach, the 2 of the other bandits catch sight of you walking forward, and they turn their crossbows. And one of them, this shifty-looking woman, who herself is twig thin, but kind of you can see like the muscles over her skin. Like she's got a sort of a short jerkin that she's wearing, and she turns her crossbow around. She says, "Now you just keep walking. This is our business. This is our score. We're not about to share it with another group of scavengers. Just walk on."
I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to minor illusion a purple badge with thorns on it, and say, "Queen's orders. I'm here to take these people to the Queen herself. So you guys can carry on." And I flip the badge, minor illusion badge, and put it back in my pocket.
Okay. Pluto and Veo, what are you 2 doing as Sebastian approaches?
As soon as he started to approach, I slip into the closest alleyway and start to climb the closest building so I can get a little bit of a vantage point to see where this is going to head up.
And Pluto?
I'm going to walk over to the bald preacher man, and I'm going to put my hand on his shoulder as if I'm going to be leading him away.
Okay. As you approach closer, 2 others train their crossbows on you and say, and they've noticed both you and Sebastian. And do you continue to come closer even though they've raised their weapons?
No. I go,
Okay.
easy, boys.
We're under direct orders. You're standing in our way.
The man gives a puzzled look. Make a deception check.
Oh boy, this
Heroes.
is going to determine whether this was a good idea or a terrible idea. That's a 1. So that's a 7.
Says,
Okay, yes, continue.
Queen's orders, eh?
That's right.
Who gave you that order?
The Queen of Thieves.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what's the name of her major domo?
That's classified information, sir. I'm sorry, do you have a badge?
We don't keep badges.
Well, no.
I know you're trying to pull one over on us.
You
but this is
low-rank
our score.
Individuals may not get badges. I'm the official mage slayer of the Queen of Thieves.
Another one of the bandits and several of the other ones, they just start howling with laughter. And one of them says,
Right?
"Hey, Rorsch, this one's funny. Maybe we should bring him to the Queen and she can have a new jester."
Mage slayer.
And they're just roaring with laughter. They're almost laughing like a pack of hyenas at you. And Roar says, "Listen, Runt, you're funny enough, but this is our score. You just keep on walking. We don't want any trouble."
Okay.
And yet your cost.
We'll keep walking, but you're not going to hurt any of these children or the elderly, which really is this whole group. So why are you picking on such helpless individuals?
I want to look at the...
And he kind of looks at you puzzled, and we're like, "Because we're robbers, dummy. We're here to loot and pillage off them. And all these folk come with all their life savings to give them away in the name of their god."
And you
That's
just
their
take them
prerogative.
from old people and children.
The getting's good. Last chance. You take your big tin can of a friend and walk on.
Last chance.
Paluto, what are you going to do?
I want to look at the old man. What kind of look is he giving?
He turns and says, he doesn't know what to make of either of you. He
wanna give
kind
him
of
the eyes.
eyes you up and down, and he doesn't know whether you're going to. It's like he's trying to figure out whether you're trying to help him or whether you're just going to be like take over their score, as the bandits seem to think you're doing.
How about a contest? From where I'm from in Caspia, we do things a little differently. And we like to play games to determine the outcome of robbing people.
Are you going to duel the blue bearded man? I say out loud, because that's stupid.
I mean,
shouldn't have said-
unless you're scared of a little contest.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, it's better than my 1.
13?
He says, "You're just going to try and get me into a little bit of a duel so your friend can stab us in the back. We're on to you."
You can keep your eyes on me the entire time. You fight him. Whoever wins gets the score. The rest of you outnumber me. I'm just a traveler. I don't have any weapons of any kind. I have a dagger. That's it.
They turn with aggression, and it looks like they're bringing their weapons to bear.
And I want to make a few announcements here. I'd like to thank Axe and Shield for providing us with the awesome gaming accessories
go.
we use, and tabletop audio for the great ambient music you're hearing, and finally 100 Years Bored for the amazing narration in our introduction video. If you're enjoying the stream, and want to help support our work, check out our Patreon. You can find it by following the links below or at patreon.com/dungeon_dudes.
Thank you so much, and we're so glad that you can join us again in Drakkenheim. Before the break, we had a rather tense situation emerging. Our intrepid adventurers have ventured
Also, they went into the break.
almost across the outskirts of Drakkenheim through the Sprawl, journeying across the Dran River, and they are now in the southern part of Drakkenheim called the Spokes, on their way to Emberwood Village, one of the few last bastions of civilization and hospitality in this part of the world. However, as they headed down the Champion's Way, the main street that leads into the gates of Drakkenheim, they encountered a group of normal people inside a church. 2 young children, a small family, and a wiry preacher that were attempting to fend off a group of bandits wearing the insignia of the Queen's men, purple bandanas and a rose and thorns motif. There are 10 of them now taking to the streets, with their leader, a large fiery-haired man with purple and blue streaks of dye in his hair. Before we left, both Paluto and Sebastian attempted to negotiate or bluff their way through this situation. The situation that they walked into. They had plenty of opportunity to just walk away. But they didn't take it.
What?
That's
not my character
it
sheet.
seems now the situation has escalated as the man in the middle, seemingly knowing by his companions who have been laughing, a man named Rorsch, bellows back at you. Last chance. Back off. Or we'll have your gold and maybe even your blood.
All right, is it Rorsch?
Yeah.
I believe you to be a man of great principle and honor.
Nope.
I've met many men who believed in principle and honor, and most of them are dead.
Let us take the kids and the elderly, and you can finish your quarrel with the man that killed your kin.
As you say that, one of the men in the group says, "No, Father, who will lead us to the Saint Salinas? You can't." And the
Young man, this is the only way.
preacher turns. He says, turns to the bandits and says, "You can have me. Just leave my flock alone. Let them proceed with their valuables." And Paluto, I can give you one more persuasion check. It's going to be a hard one, though.
Well, if it's hard, that's good, because I'm good at persuasion. 18.
Looking for a 20, buddy.
I could.
Says,
I have a -1.
He turns to you and says, "Fancy words. You make a hard bargain, but we're going to take everything." Roll for initiative.
So be it.
Oh.
Now, Vale, you see this going down.
I do.
You hear these words. I'm going to give you an opportunity to make a stealth check.
22.
Okay, you're hidden.
Woo!
As the situation comes to blades, if you want to act now, I will grant you surprise, but not these two.
Okay. Yeah.
Really? We're not surprised.
I just, Veo just kind of hears that,
I surprised myself.
rolls their eyes, and says, "Here we go again." Takes her bow out and takes an attack against big.
Okay, let's get
Big
some
blue
initiative
there.
first.
All right, initiative.
Big old Gersh.
We'll be okay.
I mumble into my helmet.
Can't be as bad as the rats.
Nothing's ever. Oh god, don't remind me.
I glance over at you, Pluto, and I say, remember that troll you killed?
Don't bring that up now.
You were so brave.
I'm a fraud.
Pluto, what you got?
11.
11.
8.
Vale?
15.
15. Okay. So, we're going to have this. Last up will be Abe, the preacher. The Queen's Men. Sebastian. Rorsch. Pluto. Vale. So, Vale, you will be the only one who acts in the surprise round. Do it to it.
Which
Alright, I
means
take my
which means she
longbow
basically
out,
gets
and
two consecutive turns.
Yes, because you're unseen, so your first attack will have advantage.
And I shoot my longbow at the leader right in the center.
Good.
of
Good
the
choice. He's probably the
bandits.
strong.
And I get a 22.
Caught unawares, the arrow sails down and hits him in the guts.
And that is a 9 damage. And I take my second attack. And as I do it, I scream out, you guys should just shut your cake hole and move along while you had the chance. And I roll for
Oh.
a 26 to hit. And I get him for 14 damage.
Yeah.
The two shots send him staggering, but he is a massive man, and it seems like even with these arrows sticking out of him, he's going to be perfectly fine to keep on fighting.
Oh, he's a tough cookie.
However, we go through the surprise round, no one acts, and you get another turn.
Yay!
I kind of crack my neck and let's try this again. And I take my bow. I only get regular.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
L1.
And the last shot sails past. Nevertheless, there is a gasp as your shots ring out from the nearby building where you were hiding, and several of the bandits take notice of you in the building. Would you like to move or do anything else?
I'm going to. There's not really anywhere for me to hide. I'm actually going to hop down the back of the building.
Okay.
Do you mind? I don't know if we can reach it.
Kind of off the board.
Yeah. Imagine me behind the.
There we go.
So behind the building where.
I love this big table, but it actually is hard to reach to the middle of the table.
Right into the middle.
Yeah.
So far away.
Maybe we need like sticks.
Little grabber
Yeah,
arms?
the little
Wow.
grabber arms. Yeah.
Amazing.
All right. So that was a great. Taking your hitting position, basically, Rorsch finished his sentence of like, we're not going to believe this. And halfway through his sentence, you basically are like, you can see this is not going well, and you take the shot, kind of surprising everybody that with your boldness, but you knew it was going south.
It was happening anyways. Might
Yeah.
as well get the first shots in there while I can.
Okay. So we will go next to Peludo.
I'm gonna rush at Grosh.
Rorsch. Okay.
I
You move in.
mispronounce his name to throw him off, and I just charge at him wildly swinging.
Okay.
That's my style, and that's a big old 22.
So as he's reeling from Veo's arrows, staggering into the street, you lower your blade down on him with a crash, and it hits him in the back.
And 12 damage.
Cool. That leaves him bloodied.
And I'm gonna action surge, and I'm gonna go for it.
Alrighty.
Doing its action surge.
15.
Cool. He spends his reaction to parry the blow.
No. No. At this point, is it still appropriate that I use precision attack, or should I have used that before?
I wonder what actually the timing of it is.
I'll let you.
Let's check on this afterwards. I think actually, I don't know what the timing of it is. Let's roll a d6.
Okay.
On a 4 or more, you can. You cannot.
Okay. So I action surge. I go for another swing.
I think it's appropriate because he's actually parrying the blow.
Okay.
Right, and so there's no more. Your precision isn't going to help anymore at this point. He's
That's
parried
okay.
the weapon attack.
I'm gonna still stab him.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna stand my ground.
Alrighty.
Against, I mispronounced his name again.
Rorsch.
Gurgurg.
Parrying the blow, Rorsch pushes your sword aside with his dagger and takes out his machete and brings it in, trying to catch under the armor of your breastplate,
No, my barbed wound.
getting a 19 to hit.
Oh, ow.
It carves deeply into your side and you take 6 points of damage. And he pulls the blade back and stabs again, getting a 20 to hit for another 6 damage.
Ow. Okay.
And then, as you kind of reel backwards, he takes his dagger out and lunges towards you, getting a 19 to hit, stabbing you in the shoulder for 4 points of damage.
So that's 16 in total?
Yeah.
Okay. Ow.
So as your attack comes
You are
through,
bloody.
he spits blood out and ravages you, and he yells out, "Kill them all!"
I'm sorry, Rorsch. It's Rorsch. I'm sorry.
Sebastian, you're up next.
Okay. I'm going to back up.
Okay.
And then I think I'm going to use sorcery points. 2 sorcery points to quicken my casting of Scorching Ray.
Okay.
And I'm going to attack Rorsch. That's 17.
That hits.
12 damage.
Yes! Pow! As he pulls himself off of Paluto after ripping Paluto open, he steps back and you land a direct shot with your scorching ray, and it sends him reeling backwards. But the massive man is still standing.
I fire at him again. More.
It
Even
hits.
more. That's 6 more damage.
Okay.
Is he still standing?
He is.
So I think each time I hit him, he steps back, and I pause, and I'm confused at the fact he's still standing. So I shoot a second time. He reels back again, and I'm like, really? Even more. 7 more damage.
What happens?
Finally, I hit him right in the face, and his head pops, and there's a smoldering
Oh,
smoke
How much
coming
of
out
it
of
is
his
on
neck.
me?
It explodes on you. Yeah, you have brain
Oh.
on you.
Such a
okay.
gluten
You still have
heavy
your
muffin top.
your action remaining,
Woo.
having cast that as a bonus action, so you can cast a cantrip or take another action.
Can I, if I use sorcery points, and I've already used 2, so that's fine.
This might be a long combat.
I'm going to cast. I'll just firebolt the red bandana guy.
Mm.
Cool. Yeah.
And that
Is a D10.
That's 5 damage.
And the firebolt crashes into him and sends him splayed out on the floor in a burning mess.
And that's when I turn and say, "Stand down."
Will they? Oh no, they love it. The bandits see this and they grit their teeth and they're like, one of them after they drop down. One of the women, she turns to you and she says, "You're going to pay your taxes in blood for that." And at this stage, the bandits...
Hopefully they're at least not thinking about the civilians.
Well, you got rid of one of them, so there's only like 8.
I got rid of the big guy. And...
We got big guys down.
Oh no!
Oh god!
So I say stand down, and they all charge at me, and you just see Sebastian go, "Oh."
The 3 of them leap upon you with their short swords.
They don't have a
and
healer
2
in
of
this
them
war.
get a 20 and a 21 to hit. And the
They might need a
dwarf
full
gets a
person.
19 to hit.
Did any of them run past me?
They were all
Did they-
far enough away from you because you're standing over
The
Rorsch.
shield won't even help me. Okay, I take all of that.
You take a total of 12 points of damage as they basically circle around you like like animals of prey,
Like
like predators, and stab into you and try to cut you down
Am I bleeding?
Sebastian, no!
Yeah, I'm
from
bleeding.
several wounds. On the other side of the battle, there's 2 halflings that take out their crossbows and they shoot Paluto. Hi.
Well, at least they're focusing on you and not the...
Getting a 10 and an 8 to hit. The other 2,
It's a little squirrely.
the larger man on the other side races towards the preacher and tackles him to the ground and stands over him. And the other 2 bandits race up towards one of the men. One knocks him to his feet, and the other grabs the little boy and holds his knife at the boy's throat.
Vale, we got one
They
who's
say,
over the hostage. Shoot him
You
through
want
the
me to
head.
see me split this little piggy like a butcher? And we move over to Veo.
Pork chop.
Vale, go for the one with the hostage. Kill, shoot the one with the hostage in the head. It's a small kid, so you should. There's still plenty of
Stand up.
free target space.
I want to come up behind where the kid is being held.
Okay.
I can move about 60 feet.
Yep. You could come through the alley,
Yeah.
race between the halflings, and you'd be right on the church steps in the middle of the family. And you'd be able to come up right behind the man that's holding the child.
I don't want to get too close to him because I'm still using a ranged weapon, but
Okay.
I want to get outside of his view. I want to kind of come up behind him.
Race around behind?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can certainly do that.
And I also use Zephyr Strike to get about 30 feet more, just so I have enough to get around. So I'm just like, oh, this guy's
Put her way
gonna
on the
cause
other
some
side.
trouble.
Yeah.
See if we can.
Veo, do you want to go up on these?
Yeah,
Or
because she's got like 120 feet of movement right now.
do you want to go up like here, or up here on this building, or like over
Oh,
here?
if I could go up on the building, that
That's
would
a
be
little
amazing.
far.
Yeah.
Like she can't be much further than the street itself.
I would
Yeah.
say,
Yeah, that's about the furthest she
yeah,
could get.
still around the corner of a building. So that way, if I still have enough movement to duck behind the corner afterwards,
You could duck behind the post,
Okay.
yeah.
And I have my Zephyr Strike, so I'm gonna take my shot with
With advantage on the man that's holding the child.
yes, right
Okay.
behind him. I'm gonna pray to the big pie in the sky that I don't murder this boy. Okay. Oh, I crit! Yay! I crit!
Critical.
Okay. So that's
Yeah.
12 plus 7, so 19 damage.
So your arrow hits the man in the back of the head and bursts through the other side, ripping out his face and splaying his brains and gray matter all over the little boy.
And I
Oh,
say, "Thank you, pie in the sky," and I slip back behind the corner.
The child is saved, but emotionally scarred for life.
We all end up a little emotionally scarred here in Drakkenheim, anyways. It's not no big.
don't.
You're welcome.
Do you want to remove the one with the shield there?
And then just put me behind the corner or a poster.
Which one's the preacher?
The man in
So
black.
there's now 8.
Yeah, other side. That's right. Looks good. Pluto, it's your turn.
Oh, ow. I'm feeling it, but I feel renewed seeing the little boy freed and gurgly, stupid goatee on the ground. I step over his body and I go to save the preacher man. So I'm gonna run at the guy with the red headband.
Alrighty.
Oh, now I'm gonna use the thingamabobber. What's it 2? 12?
That's it. He's only wearing leather armor.
Yes. 14 damage.
So this guy is like is standing over the preacher who's knocked to the ground. And you basically come up beside him, pull your sword back, swing in a wide side arc, and he just tries to step back in time because you barely hit, right? And you just lean a little bit forward, and your blade catches his stomach and splays his intestines all over the street. And at this stage, the two children are crying and screaming in front of you, like seeing this display of violence. And the mother and the man are like trying to like cover up their eyes at the sight of all this violence.
And I'm laughing.
Right.
And I
And-
stand over his body.
And we go to the bandits.
One real quick. I'm gonna for sure second wind
Okay,
right now, because I need that bad
cool.
for 11.
Callie, can you reach to move him and then remove the man with the red bandana? Yep, he's very, very dead. His intestines are all over the floor.
I've been rolling a lot of 8s.
Yeah.
Today.
Rorsch is also extremely dead. There's not even anything left of his head because Sebastian basically exploded it. And so we go to Sebastian.
Now this is the tricky part, and the way they're positioned, I can only Burning Hands 2 of them, right?
That would be correct. Unless you wanted to move back and take an opportunity attack from at least one of them.
I don't know if I can afford that.
Okay.
I'm going to just Burning Hands the 2 on the one in front of me and the one on my right.
Okay, let's can you show the template? Oh,
I do apologize. I didn't save him.
cool. Nice. Boom.
So seeing them run at me,
They get a 1 and a 6 for the dexterity saving throws.
amazing. So as they run at me and I go, oh no, and I just hold out my hands and fire expels itself from my hands, doing 11 damage.
Leaving behind nothing more than charred meat and bones.
Good. That took care of that. That's far less scary now.
Smells like barbecue.
As the woman and the dwarf are basically consumed in flame. The other bandits, seeing the situation, with most of their number depleted, the dwarf breaks to run, and so do the two halflings and the surviving the human man. So they say, "They fight like demons. Let's get out of here!" And they turn to run.
I get an opportunity attack,
Yeah,
but it can't be a spell, right?
yeah.
You need more
Do you have any melee weapons?
Punch him.
I have
Melee
a
weapons?
dagger.
Punch
Okay,
him.
I get a 17.
that hits.
I do 3,
Plus your dex mod damage.
5 damage.
So you cut into the dwarf as he runs off, and he is limping away through the city streets.
I've never stabbed somebody before.
How'd
That's
that feel?
new.
Who cares
Veo,
burning
Pluto?
people, but-
Would you like to pursue, or what would you like to do?
Oh man, should we let them live?
I'm just worried about what they're going to tell the queen, so I don't think so. Now that we've gotten into this,
Yeah.
we got to clean up our mess,
Yeah.
guys.
Okay.
If are they running in the same direction or different directions?
No, the dwarf is running this way, and the halflings and the others are running the opposite direction.
I'm gonna chase after the halflings with Veo
Okay.
because I think Sebastian can handle the dwarf.
Okay. Veo, do you want to take a shot?
Oh yeah. All right, I'm gonna take a shot at the halfling. Oh, nope.
The shot goes completely wide.
They're running too quickly. I can't move fast enough to hit them yet.
Okay.
And I'm gonna stay where I am as they run by.
Pluto.
They've got a bit of distance on me, right?
They do.
I can't catch up just by running.
Just by running, you could catch up to them, but not be able to attack.
I'm gonna huck a hand axe at them.
Alrighty, go for it. Make the attack.
An 8.
The axe goes completely wide. It actually hits Veo's arrow as she fires it. And the two, I'm sorry. And like the halfling's like, I'm so lucky,
He probably used a luck.
Yep.
And I'm gonna keep pursuit,
Okay.
huffing and puffing my way.
Sebastian.
I fire a firebolt at the dwarf who I stabbed.
Yep.
Oh man.
I get a 10.
Not enough.
Oh man,
I don't
Okay.
know, like-
these guys running away.
They all continue to run and are quite far and make quite good distance. They are spending all their actions and movements to run and run and run. So they're now well away out of range of your attacks. Are you going to continue to pursue them though?
I don't think so, guys.
Yeah, I kind of do like the defeated, like slow to a jog, and then like the standing there, and I have like my hands on my hips. I'm like, darn it.
And I just yell at them. My name is Virginia. Virginia.
That's not your name.
Remarkably, Sebastian didn't say his name to them.
Wow.
It was like one of the first times ever.
I do, however, approach
Here's
this
my card.
family covered in blood and ash, and there's charred bodies everywhere, and I say, "My name's Sebastian Crow, and I've just rescued you." And then I slump over onto the ground and start bleeding.
I walk up to him and I just pat him on the back and be like, "You okay, bud? You did good.
You did real good.
You're looking a bit rough, but you did good."
I'm okay, and then I cough up blood and lay on the ground for a while.
The preacher immediately, as you come back from your pursuit, the preacher, it looks like he has tended to the children and the others to take stock of them, and is kind of hurrying them inside the church proper. It's the church itself is this large single steepled building. Probably about 50 people could have congregated here in its day. And as you return down the street, the preacher, again, he's wearing simple black robes, and he has the symbol of the falling fire branded into his forehead. And he's completely shaven, eyebrows and everything. He might be in his 60s, and he turns to you and says, "Flame preserve you. You fight with fury and flame and righteousness, and you've saved my flock. Thank you."
Yeah, no problem. You don't happen to know any healing magic, do you?
"I do. You're very hurt. Let me tend to you." And he comes up to you and casts Cure Wounds upon you.
Yes. Pluto might want in on
Super
that.
magic.
And you regain 10 hit points.
Woo. What a nice man.
I feel 10 better.
I'm as he's healing you, I'm raiding Roche's corpse. I'm just like haphazardly picking him up and like flipping him over to like search through his body in front of the church.
He had a few personal belongings, a satchel of gold, a small vial with a healing potion inside it,
Any biscuits?
and a roughly scrawled map of Drakkenheim, which seems to have several locations in the spokes circled.
Yeah. Write it down. Map with oh man, points of interest.
Added to the tour guide.
I'm gonna kind of like in a cool scene, I like throw the map to Veo all rolled up.
And I grab it and I take a look.
It's wildly inaccurate, but the points of interest through the spokes largely seem to circle out areas where they suspect there might be good plunder. But the arrows and markings on it seem to indicate that they're coming from an area, all coming from a single area off the sewer mains. That might be a gathering point for them.
So this is wildly inaccurate, but I'm going to keep it anyways, just in case.
What other loot did we find other than the map?
He had a bag of gold, their weapons and equipment, and he had on his person a single healing potion, which he did not get the chance to use.
Yeah, it's not gonna help his face.
All right. Well, did we have fun, getting involved with the thieves? Because now we're probably, on the hit list of the queen, just so you know.
I don't care what any of you say. It was an excellent plan. You're welcome. We saved people today.
I didn't know your name was Virginia.
It's
Yeah,
not.
that's-
I just don't want them to know my name.
Is Veo short for Virginia?
No.
I think we figured it out.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to avoid the queen knowing that it was me because I kind of stepped on some of their, paws before, and I just want to make sure that I steer clear of them as much as we can. Hence, didn't want to necessarily go into battle with them, but now they know who we are. So
They don't know who we are. They know that you're Virginia, and other than that, we could be anybody.
I guess I can always disguise myself if we ever come across them. You, on the other hand, they'll know what you look like. So let's avoid them in the future if we can.
The preacher turns to the group of you, seeing you talking about it, and says, "Pray tell me, pilgrims, where were you bound for?"
We're heading to Emberwood Village.
Ah, I see. We were heading deeper into the city ourselves, making for Champion's Gate. You're welcome to join us if you like.
Are you guys gonna be okay on your own?
He eyes the group of people huddling in the entranceway of the church. He says, "I can tend to them. If you've driven them off like this, so many, hopefully they won't come back in force by the time we can get to the gate. It's only a short walk from here, and at that point our companions will keep us safe."
And you kids remember, Sebastian Crow tells stories.
Sebastian Crow. You?
I'm Pluto Jackson from Caspia.
And you, Kat?
Veo. This is my group, Veo and the Pussycats. We're
The three
We're
crows.
actually
might
the
as well give
Jackson
our
three.
name if just don't tell any of the thieves if you can.
They prey on us and the faithful. They're sinners all who will be denied their paradise. They pursue the pleasures of the flesh and of gold. We are here for a higher purpose. My name is Schaefer.
It's nice to meet you.
That sounds
Thank you.
familiar.
The gold that we stole from them in my pocket.
You counting?
Yes, terrible things. The
Yeah, I stopped
food
counting.
and gold and all that. Terrible.
Terrible.
Terrible. We're on our way to Emberwood Village to spend some gold.
Where?
So I don't know if we can go with you. You're going into the city.
Yes, we are. The family here, Alec, Elena, and their children, they have come to offer themselves to the rest of the flock. They will join us, and we congregate at St. Salinas under the teachings of Lucretia herself. It is a good time, but it is a dangerous place for us to venture towards. But more come every day. I have led many groups along the Champion's Way towards their fate, and many of us are gathering there. Great things will be coming.
Neat. Sounds super dangerous.
Are you of the faith?
Do I look like I've shaved my body hair?
Yes.
Nay.
And
Oh.
have you heard the teachings of Matthias, Lucretia Matthias?
I'm not one for organized cults? Is this a cult? Is this a...
No.
Religion.
No, of course not. Our way is the true way. It is the time that was foretold in the old texts. It is an age of heroes is upon us. A glorious age where the truth of this world, the light of this world will truly shine through. But it requires all of our faith, giving everything if the next stage of the world is to come to pass.
I think you have enough faith for me. So add that on there to, take me out.
I'm interested in finding this Saint Salinas, but not right now. See, going into the city seems like a bad idea. We seem to be having enough trouble just going through the outskirts of the city. I don't know how a group like yourselves has means of surviving going further in. I've heard nothing but horror stories about what lays beyond the walls.
But have you heard of the great truth that is there at St. Salinas?
I know of a few truths.
The angel preserves us. The archangel Makeda has come down, and she resides at St. Salinas, and all who see her light are protected and saved.
Sounds
I'm
nice.
gonna do like the lean around him, and I'm just gonna address the other group. You guys are cool with this?
The tears are crying, and the woman says, "Are you the heroes of the next age? Were you sent by the archangel? Or are you here to protect us?"
Yes. And
Looking at these people, they are hanging on every word this man is saying.
Oh, no, he's got them.
No, I think we're sent, but not necessarily by any angel. But I mean, if we can do our best to get along in the world and protect who we can, then I guess yes.
The path of divine providence brings strange tidings indeed. After all, it brought us this city. But it is a sacred place now. That falling fire is a sign of the future truth. May it preserve you on your journeys.
And also you.
I'm gonna give him like one of those. Oh, please, please be like. I'm so worried. Please don't let these kids die.
Yeah, we're trusting you, sir, to safely bring these children into the city, which seems kind of counterintuitive.
Go fast and don't take this.
He
win.
says, "I have shepherded young Claire and Simon this far, and with your help, truly, heroes watch over us. We may feel safe. If any future harm would come and befall us, I can only imagine what guidance the flame will send to protect us."
That was Veo, and she's gonna come with us.
Veo's watching over you, but only right now.
Yeah,
We're going to go the opposite
we're
direction
going
of you.
that way.
That's
I
how
don't
I
think anybody's watching over you once you pass those walls over
Please
there.
just know that no one's
Yeah.
watching over you.
State of the state of the
I
shadows.
really need you to understand. Like, please,
No one cares
go
about
quietly. Don't. No more waving.
We will
around.
have faith in each other, and I'm sure we will make our way safe. And if I need to be the one that calls upon that power and gives my life to protect them, I would have. I would have taken all those men on. They would have killed me. But they would have left the children, and they would have been able to make it further.
you. If I come back this way and I find dead children, I'm going to be really upset, and I'm going to find you, and we're going to have words, and they're going to be strong words. Maybe
Mhm.
even
And they'll
harsh
be-
words.
May all
It-
truths be told in the next life.
Man, with the cryptic, just go.
All right, guys,
Oh,
let's-
He's quoting scripture.
Yeah.
And you can kind of tell, like, the sacred fire is the dominant religion in both Caspia and was in Westermar and is in Illyria as well. But I mean, Caspians are pretty loose about their religion, right?
Oh yeah.
But what this man is saying is something different entirely.
I slowly start to like back away towards the
Well.
direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you. Happy to help. Sebastian Crow, remember?
Yeah, don't forget.
As
our
you walk away, you
purpose.
can turn him. You can hear him speaking with an impassioned voice, and he says, "See what great works and heroes will be made of in the next age. Truly, it is a blessing of above that they were sent to guide us. No," and you can hear him saying as you walk away, like, "You can see that our purpose is true. That the fates would send so many protectors to guide our path. Do not doubt for a moment our heroic purpose."
I just wanted to help kids.
We did it.
And
It
they-
was us.
Vea was just like, as she's walking away, she's like rolling her eyes, like, and you wanted to save this bunch of, crazies.
But what if
I-
what if I am a hero sent?
No, stop. I take the pamphlet out of your hand and I
No,
rip
no.
it up.
He's the indoctrination
They are
has
as many as
begun.
a fruitcake, so just leave them be, and if they find their way, they find their way. If not, the city gets them. That's the rule, right?
Now I want fruitcake.
Rule of the city.
Ew. But yum.
So, how far to Emberwood Village?
Oh,
Vea?
not too far.
Here about 6 miles.
That's nothing.
I mean, that's like 10 kilometers. It's not too far.
It's not too big.
Okay, we can march it.
We just hustle up a little bit,
That guy was very nice and he healed me. I'm still bleeding moderately.
Yes, but you were bleeding because of him.
No, not because of him, because of the
Oh,
bandits.
So like zeroed out.
We're not getting into this.
You're bleeding because the all-watching. I don't know. I'm trying to. The meteor. Is it the meteor?
The meteor does
Angel.
hold some interesting power. I'm curious to see what exactly these I want to call them a cult, but they don't want to be called a cult.
No.
They're essentially a cult.
This cult, I want to see what their whole thing is. I find it rather interesting. They may have knowledge about the meteor, and I would like that knowledge.
Oh.
I just think the only reason the thieves have so many people to steal from is because they keep coming to the city with all their riches. So
Yeah.
I feel like they're definitely adding to the problem here.
Well, Vale, you've seen countless numbers of pilgrims get robbed, murdered, and worse as they've made it.
The only way
their way along
I think the only way to
Champion's
protect those people
They really are like lambs to the
is
slaughter.
take advantage,
in many
disband the
ways.
bandits.
But the numbers of
The only way to
the
that,
cult
I think-
continue to grow in the city, and they hold the,
Might be a
champion,
big
they hold the
example of the
champions Gate in
Queen.
St. Salinas, which are basically on the doorstep of the Great Crater. And how they're surviving in those numbers that close to the crater, you don't know. But you'd think that if they could survive in that dangerous of a place, they could help the people that were coming through this way.
You'd think, but
Yeah,
when
what's this archangel?
rats band together, they're only as good as the rats. So
and we kill rats. So
Well, where to now?
let's head on our way. Let's get to
we can get to
Emberwood Village.
I'm so excited.
Fish.
You're not
Fish.
hiding it.
I'm about to lose control.
I think I like it.
Oh yeah.
You guys. Okay. Sorry, is that copyright?
I don't know. Just be
Probably.
careful. So
Happy birthday.
this part of the Spokes, it's a large urban sprawl, the Spokes, and as you move further south along the Champions Road through the old Spoke Marketplace and further south, eventually the city begins to break up. The ruined buildings become further and further spaced out, and eventually you come to the edge of the city limits and begin taking the lonely road towards Emberwood Village, leaving Drakkenheim behind you in the distance. The rain begins to pick up in a little bit of intensity as you leave the city in the afternoon, and you can see though that this old road, the Champions Road, is not like the muddy roads of the Shepherd's Way and the Market Way in the north. It's a paved cobblestone road, and it continues like that throughout. If it weren't for the 15 years of time that have passed since the city was ruined, the Champion's Way was a well-maintained road in its day, and it has held up reasonably well, although it's overgrown in certain areas. And partway through, there's a bit of wreckage of several old caravans, abandoned wagons from the first wave of refugees that tried to flee the city that eventually just abandoned all their goods. As you pass down as you pass along the road, you pass by a few other similar groups to the one that was accompanying Schaefer. Some of them much larger, as many as 20 people, and another just a pair of people and a child. It is striking, though, all the groups of these pilgrims that come marching up the Champion's Way. They all have the elderly. They have some sick in tow. Like the one group of 20 people, they're actually bringing, like they've got a cart with them that has several sick and injured people that are moaning on the back of it for sickness. And you can hear the preacher saying to the others that accompanies them, a younger woman, actually herself shaved and branded, she says, "Don't worry, they'll be saved when we get to St. Salinas." And as you continue along the road, eventually you can hear the bubbling of the Timberwash, which is the small river that eventually feeds into the Dran, where Emberwood Village is built. The forest is really growing up around things here. For Emberwood Village, in its day, was known for logging and smithing. It was a mining and logging town, and it really was a feeder to the wealth of the southern part of Drakkenheim, where all the foundries and workshops were. A lot of money passed through this small little village. As you approach, Emberwood Village is still a small town. In its heyday, only a few hundred people lived here, but now as you approach, there are many abandoned homes and crumbling buildings as you see the city proper. Sebastian, there's one crumbling home in particular that's on the south side of the city that you don't have to walk past on your way into town, so that's a small respite for yourself, at least. Emberwood Village though is filled with light. As you come into the city at the end of the day, as the rain are beginning to patter down, you can hear laughter, music, and lots of commotion in the city, for it is now a city of many other adventurers and explorers that are coming into Drakkenheim to pick over the ruins. There is a large manor house, a chapel, several taverns, and wheeled up along the river is a very large caravan of 5 colorful tents and several barrel-topped wagons as you approach the city. And you can see that this band of really well-armed soldiers are surrounding this campsite, where two of the men tending the armored oxen that pull the carts. You've never seen a creature like this before, because as you pass by the oxen of this caravan, you realize that they're not covered in plate armor, but they're made of steel, these two creatures. And as you walk down the way, a massive man steps out from one of the tents, kind of sniffing the air around him.
Well, this is lively, isn't it?
I really should have taken off my helmet. I thought we were going to relax in Emberwood Village.
So many people.
Ready to
I'm not used to this many people, to be honest, in the city.
Yeah, this is weird. I've never seen this many people in Drakkenheim at
I'm
one
like
time.
I'm like glancing at every face that I see to see if I recognize anybody nervously because I don't really want to be recognized.
Stepping out from one of the tents as you come down the road, you hear this large voice say, "Ah, coming in from the city. You can sell your wares to me here, and I have trade in kind for you." And you see him step out. This man is a mountain of flesh. He's as wide as he is tall. And he is garbed in a masterfully tailored jet black silk, which flatters his obese frame. He's got a frilled doublet and painted and padded breeches. He's wearing riding gloves, all worn under this fur-lined cloak, and he's topped with a feathered cap. And all of his clothing is embroidered with an elegant silver trim. And you can smell the tobacco on him as he walks up to you. And it's mixed with this perfume. Finally, a fine-smelling person. And he takes a puff of his pipe, blows it at you with a rakish grin, and he says, "Welcome to Emberwood Village. If you're looking to do some business, you need come no further. Have you delirium? Gold? If you're looking for something to spend, I can help you indeed. I am Aldor the Immense, and this is my caravan."
Sebastian Crow, Mage Slayer.
He shakes your hand with a big firm grip, and you can feel the combination of flab and muscle in his hand.
I also go out and I'm like, Veo, native of the city, but I don't know what it is about you.
I've seen you around, Pussycat. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Pluto Jackson.
Caspian. I
Hi.
hope you brought lots of that Caspian coin with you. I'm a little bit short this month, so I could use a bit of a lucrative spender. Or perhaps, perhaps
Yeah.
I impose myself on you all too soon. Emberwood Village is full of many other pleasures, but you'll find nothing better than here in my caravan if you're looking for things to help you survive in the city.
I mean, we are.
Yes. Excellent.
How long have you been in Emberwood Village?
I just arrived a few weeks, and I must say I have rarely seen a more lucrative business opportunity for a merchant of war such as myself. I mean, I thought I did well in the civil wars, but of course, the adventurers, they come, they die, they spend more, they come, they spend more money, they die. Someone loots their belongings, I buy it back off them at half price and sell it to the next group. But I'm sure you'll have better luck than the
He's a
others.
smart guy.
Yeah, that's a good business model.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Are there any blacksmiths in town?
Yes, I have been securing several provisions from him. He's a very talented man, I must say.
Just the one?
Just the one
Go
now.
visit him.
Oh, I need a blacksmith. Good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea, Sebastian.
No, that was oh dear.
Where does he live?
He's round the corner past the Bark and Buzzard, but I think he's closing up shop for the day.
Oh, it's too bad. Should go see if he's open. See if he'll keep his doors open.
No, I think we can do all of our shopping here. There's no need.
You know the
Perhaps I
blacksmith.
impose on you too soon. If you're looking for
You know the blacksmith.
comforts, I recommend the Gilded Lily. And if you're just looking for a soft bed and a warm ale, you could go to the Bark and Buzzard.
Is it late? Is it
It's around dinner time.
I could use an ale,
maybe we
especially if we're gonna go see the blacksmith. I might need a few.
yeah, we could go see we could stay the night in Emberwood Village. Sleepover.
I mean, I'll sleep anywhere, but sure.
Honestly, after the campouts that we've had in the terrible, terrible city, a soft bed sounds really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the last time I slept in a soft bed. No, can't remember.
Have you ever?
Yeah. I used to live in the palace.
Oh,
Did you not know that?
no.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Okay, I
Once
feel-
upon a time, I
What happened
remember
to
a
your
soft bed.
palace?
We're not going to talk about that right now.
I feel like we don't know a lot about each other, considering that we've been friends. I mean, I knew that you lived in the palace.
Yeah.
But I feel because we knew that, I never told him,
Oh.
and you didn't know that I was from Emberwood Village.
I killed a troll.
Yes, Pluto.
Did I mention it?
You have.
Oh, okay. Good.
Do you guys want to go find a room for the night and maybe drink
Yeah.
the last week away?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a normal week for me, so.
I think those kids probably need those kids need a drink.
I've burned more people than I usually do in a given week, and
Is it weighing on you?
I mean, the blood on my jacket is weighing on me.
Okay.
Like,
Not emotionally, just
physically?
physically. I'm
dread.
caked in blood and ash and brain matter. I flick some brain off of my shoulder.
I mean, I wouldn't say no to a good meal if you guys are treating.
Yeah. I
Do
think
they-
we owe Veo a hot meal.
Do they have a place to clean up around here?
You've never heard of this place called the Gilded Lily? It probably opened since
I left.
you left, but you remember the Bark and Buzzard. Karen and Holger Alsberg, the young couple that used to run it. I mean, they'd be much older now, but Karen was a good cook, and they might have good beds.
I'd like to go there. I mean, I know that I want to avoid being noticed, but that place always was a nice place for me to hang out. They didn't treat me too rough back in the day.
But, like, a bit rough.
Most people didn't like a accidental spellcaster coming into their place of business before I could control my magic. I had a tendency to burn places down. Usually not on
You are a
purpose.
shell
There were a few,
spellcaster, not wild magic.
incidents.
Yeah, you keep saying that, but I'm wondering if you.
There's reasons that I'm. Anyway, let's go.
But I'm wondering if they know you, are they going to even let us stay there, or should we go somewhere that
Like
they don't know
I said,
us?
they were generally kind to me. They were always uneasy when I was in their establishment because of the prone to accidents.
Yeah.
But they were nice.
Okay. I trust your judgment.
Because we could also, keeping with our secret mission, go to the Gilded Lily, and maybe that's where River will meet us. If we want to stay off the
Operator.
off the beaten trail.
I leave it up to you two. I could go either way. Part of me wants to see a friendly face, but part of me also is nervous about this whole
Are
situation.
you gonna burn it down?
You know what? Maybe
I can control it now,
Okay,
Pluto.
okay.
maybe Karen will have some information about your dad. Yeah, let's go there.
Yeah, okay, we go to there.
Wait, why are you trying to push the dad thing?
I'm just
your
amused. I knew your
dad's from
dad. Your dad
here.
was a pretty nice guy. So it'd be nice to see a friendly face again.
I haven't been here in 15 years. I left my father alone to tend to the blacksmith shop, and I never came back. I didn't want to come back until I could come and say, look at all I've accomplished. I'm a great and powerful sorcerer now. But instead, I got kicked out of the academy, became a mage hunter for hire,
Mm-hmm.
and didn't have the guts to come back and tell him that I never amounted to anything.
Look at all that gold in your pocket.
You
mounted.
walk past towards the square as you talk, and it's a small muddy square
You-
that composes Emberwood Village, and here is where the Gilded Lily, the Bark and Buzzard, the Chapel of Saint Ardina, as well as the old Stavros Manor, the town hall, are, and amongst a collection of a few other shops. Sebastian, you can spy the familiar two chimneys of your father's old blacksmith shop, and the sign still hangs in the front, and it says Crow and Son Smithy.
And son.
You're the son. You're on the sign. I know a famous guy.
He wanted me to be a smith just like him, but instead I burnt a few places down and then was taken away to an academy and never came back. So
Doesn't mean you can't hone your skills now.
You could be a forge.
Like a self-forge.
You could just be the forge. You would save him so much on heating.
I never thought of that, you know? That's a nice thought, Pluto. Thank you.
I just think you'd make a great
Silver
furnace
lining.
one day.
I'm glad I have you as a friend to tell me.
I'm
this.
glad of me too.
Can I see my house from here?
You can see a lurching building on the far side of the city, kind of just the tops of it across a few other houses.
Gross. Who wants to live there?
That's when I stop like dead in my tracks and like turn in I like try to pick a direction to look, and I'm just like, where's the tavern? Let's move along.
Yeah.
Let's go to the tavern. I don't have to subject you to all these terrible memories
You can
all
see
at once.
You're just having night.
Smoke coming from the chimneys of the large 2-story wooden building that has a stone foundation and a bit of a sagging slate roof. As you approach the Bark and Buzzard, you can see the caricature on the sign above it, which depicts a mirthful vulture feasting on a disemboweled hound, but the hound is also laughing. Like it has like the
What
whole thing
the
is very
shit?
cheerful looking.
So I look when I'm eating too. Dead or alive, you know?
That sign gives me many good memories.
And
What fun.
you open up the doors into the tap room. You can see there's maybe about a dozen people that are gathered here. A few seated around the various tables that have been collected in the bar up at the front. And you can see a older woman with her hair tied back, serving several mugs of ale. And she turns to you, regards you. She kind of squints at you for a moment. And she says, "Come in from the cold and rain. I'm Karen. Welcome to the Bark and Buzzard. We've got mead, and tonight we've got a chicken stock, tomato, and potato stew."
Pluto, are you gonna buy me
Arr?
some stew?
I don't
You want
really
this?
respond. I don't really know what to say because she didn't recognize me, and so I kind of just stay silent.
3 of that. And
Sounds
a
good.
table.
Coming right up.
And we grab you and bring you over to a table, sit you down.
Come on, big guy. You're in your home.
There's a few other people seated around. Kind of scan at first for familiar face, but most of the people have their backs turned to you all.
Don't recognize anyone.
Is that the same? Is that the same? Is that the same?
I start looking
Is that
around.
the same?
Does it look like it's changed much?
It's certainly worn down. It's not as busy as you remember it being. And as your eyes scan around, you can see that there's a large man seated at the bar
Right.
with bright orange hair and a pair of goggles over the top of his head.
That's what used to go.
And he turns around to meet your gaze. We will wrap up there for the evening.
It's Goku.
Oh. Oh, such a good way to end.
Oh man.
Oh. I'll probably do another one of these tomorrow.
Is he the same?
Cool.
Yeah, that seems like an appropriate point to wrap up for this evening. As we follow our heroes
A cliffhanger worthy of nightmares.
into Emberwood Village and find out what happens next. I will let you know that we will make this a milestone, and so I'll have you all level up for next session.
Level 4.
Yeah, level 4.
How did you level up? Saw my dad.
you're go.
Suddenly I'm like, I have more powers.
And we'll and I will.
They all
let
stay
you
the
all
same
take a look
level.
at the
They now
inventory
have
of all of the, at
options
the
for
events
feet.
and the other vendors around here. So if you do want to do any shopping in the interim, we won't.
Feet.
We won't borrow you all on stream with our shopping trips.
Yeah, they can take hours. But
Will,
what about
will Sebastian
what
take?
can I get?
But next
Can I
time we-
borrow some gold from you?
We can announce what we bought. We
Yeah,
can
yeah,
talk
we can
about
have some
maybe
fun
what we
with-
did to level up,
or
if
what-
we,
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
what we
We'll
wanted.
share with everybody all your new fun bling. Yep. Yay.
Cool.
Also, we need to establish how much gold we have because we still haven't.
Yeah,
Oh
we
yeah,
won't
you haven't
forget
counted your money yet.
No.
You
Yeah,
just took that
we
bag
have-
of
we have
gold on
bags.
consignment.
that. It was big.
It's actually just bits of stone wrapped in gold foil.
Oh no. It's like at the bottom, it's all stone. It's just like a few at the top that are gold.
Yeah, no, it's a good
River's
amount of
good.
money.
I trust River for that.
Great, fantastic. So that will wrap us up for this evening. I want to give a really big thank you to our cast, Kelly, Jill, and Joe. And we've got our awesome team of Kyle and Clayton working behind the scenes to manage the stream. If you were chatting with us tonight, you were probably talking with Clayton there, who was keeping everyone entertained with lots of chat messages. Thank you all so much for watching.
Enjoyed watching.
Kelly.
Yeah, if you are enjoying the stream and want to help support our work, check out our Patreon.
Do it.
Yeah, you can find it by following the links below or at patreon.com/dungeon_dudes. And every little bit helps us make this show better.
Yeah, and of course, we're always happy to hear your feedback and everything that we can improve. We had a little bit of a rocky start, but I think we've figured out the technical glitches in the system. So please let us know how things were worked
yeah.
technologically in the stream today.
There was no delay. It was on.
Kelly and I do
It's-
post new videos every Thursday on our YouTube channel as well, where we cover everything Dungeons and Dragons. So we have new advice for dungeon masters and guides for players. I think this Thursday we're talking about 5 game-breaking spells in Dungeons and Dragons. And so you can also find prior episodes from this campaign and all of our huge archive of videos by checking out youtube.com/Dungeon Dudes, or just going to dungeondudes.com will take you right to our YouTube as well.
Tonight's game session featured music by Tabletop Audio. So if you enjoyed the background noise, including me, I'm on Tabletop Audio.
And a big shout out to 100 Years Boar, who did the introduction narration for our video. So thank you so much for that.
And our game accessories were generously provided by Axe and Shields, such as
Fun
the,
initiative tracker.
The initiative tracker. He has other amazing products, so definitely check out Axe and Shield.
Yeah. And also we use terrain from Dwarven Forge. I've been collecting them for years and years and years. And we have our cool Hero Forge miniatures and some other minis by WizKids. So if you want to see some close-up photos of our minis, we've got those on our Twitter as well, which is just at Dungeon_Dudes on Twitter. We want to thank you all so much for watching us again in Dungeons of Drakkenheim, and we will see you next week at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time as we delve back into the ruins of Drakkenheim. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, and with that, we'll call this video to a close. Like them, I thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. This is Frina Riunametra, wishing you good fortune through this quest of life.